The evidence seems to indicate that you're watching Dolly Vision.
Topping up, Dolly Vision's dreaming real. True crime scene blast feel so unreal. YouTube madness like share, subscribe. Chats on fire, burning the world fire. Where's the baby missing shadows crawl? People whisper footsteps down the hall. Fingerprints of the dead, cold as stone. He's got the scoop, best around town known. Dolly Vision headlines, King the Beat. Truth unravels, crackling through the heat. Lost soul shouting, echoes in the night. Mark the truth while live on air light. Topping up, Dolly Vision's dreaming real. True crime scene blast feels so unreal. YouTube madness like share, subscribe. Chats on fire, burning the world fire. Where's the baby missing shadows crawl? People whisper footsteps down the hall. Fingerprints of the dead, cold as stone. He's got the scoop, best around town known. Dolly Vision headlines, King the Beat. Truth unravels, crackling through the heat. Lost soul shouting, echoes in the night. Rock the truth while live on air light.
What is up, YouTube? Dolly back in the house again tonight. And man, has there been some tragedies today? And we're going to talk a little bit about that. Here's the bad thing about true crime. Usually true crime ends with the most horrible, horrific things that possibly could happen. It's just very seldom do we get good news. And let me tell you now, tonight, no good news tonight. No good news at all. But first, I'm going to need you to leave your DNA all over that like button, just in case for some crazy reason you go missing and we got to come track you down. Okay? I'm going to need that DNA on file. And also, if you're brand new and haven't subbed up yet, make sure you sub up, ring the bell for notifications, and feel free to share my ugly face on any social media platform you choose, long as it's not farmersonly.com, okay? Or People Walmart. Neither one of those sites, and you're good, okay? You're good. Now, for everybody that tuned in the other night, right? For everybody that tuned in, because you see the title is very vague. And because this person hasn't got a lot of news, so you might not be familiar with his name anyway. The man that we're going to talk about today's name is Sean Stosdale. Okay. He's a local guy right here from my area. My family knows his family. We've been in the same community for years. Okay. Knew his father. And today, tragic news. For you guys that tuned in the other day, you heard a caller call in and say, hey, I'm from the 757 area. And she actually brought up Sean Stosdale. He was like, did you hear he's missing? And then we started talking. And apparently she knew the girl that I went to prom with and all this. And she started talking. And if you remember, he's in our family. Okay. So if you remember, she called in and he was last seen at the hospital. Okay. He was last seen at the hospital. Apparently he had been having some mental health issues. Okay. So his mother and everybody, I guess his family, were trying to get him into a mental care facility because he was just, I guess, wigging out a little bit about something. Not quite sure what. All the details have not come in. It's still kind of breaking as a case here locally. And even my daughter Tiffany is friends with the family, and she called me up tonight, and she's the one that gave me this news. Okay. And then I went and did a little digging to see if I could find a little bit more information on it. Because, I was just talking the other night. I was like, well, if he don't turn up, I'll go looking for him. Now, there had been some rumors about, maybe some drug abuse, mental issues, things like that. So what, not quite sure. I haven't seen the guy. I don't really know for sure what was going on with him at the time of his disappearance. From what I had originally heard was he had showed up at the hospital, Chesapeake General Hospital, which is basically right down the street from where I live. That's where I go to cardio rehab at for my heart. It's the same place. And from what my understanding was, or what I'm hearing is the hospital said he was okay and turned him away. Now, I'm not positive of that, right? Right now, that is just rumor, speculation that he was turned away at the hospital. But this was the last location that he was seen. All right. So, from my understanding, and this is still coming in a little sketchy about the lake or beside the lake, we're not quite sure. But about a mile down the street, mile and a half down the street, is a Five Below, a Starbucks that me and PJ go to all the time and get Starbucks. This is where we go shopping at. There's a Kroger's grocery store. We usually go to that Kroger's, get Starbucks, hit the little Five Below, things like that. Well, while you're out there in that area, there's this big homeless encampment that sits in the woods. Like we've been here, even in Hendersonville, I searched all these homeless encampments for Sebastian Rogers, right? And well, we have a lot of these things right here in Virginia too. When you go out in the woods, under the underpasses, we have a huge homeless community here. The police run them off a lot, so you don't see them as much. They kind of hide in the woods. They have their own little section of woods that they hide in. And one of these sections of woods are right behind this grocery store that me and PJ shop at. Okay. So apparently today, when he didn't turn back up again today, they put a search party together and went out searching. Tragically, Sean Stosdale's body was found today behind the Five Below, the AT&T location. And from the messages I got, that he was in the lake. But we went through and pulled up 911 calls from today in that area, and they found a body. Well, they didn't say body. They just said a non-responsive person not breathing behind the AT&T. Now, so it's not clear if he was in the lake or if he was beside the lake or what yet. Okay. But he was found deceased today. And this is a young guy, right? This is a younger guy. Tragedy. I know his family is heartbroken tonight. And I know they were praying for the best, that he'd be found and he would get the help that he needed. And if it's true that the hospital turned this dude away with mental health issues and he goes down the street, he hurts himself, man, I mean, to me, it sounds like, I don't know. I don't know if that's truthful or not, because like I said, this is breaking so fast that all the details haven't came in, as far as I know. From what I'm hearing right now, it's a little bit of news, a little bit of rumors, and it's terrible, right? And this is something going on right here in our community. I spoke about the young lady that had jumped off the overpass and lost her life here onto the interstate. And he went missing around the same exact time as that. And I'm thinking, okay, I just hope nothing bad happens to him. He'll most likely show up. Or is it something where he went out here with mental health issues and there's some foul play, right? Because you just don't drop dead. Okay. People just don't die. Usually. Now, if you're older, there's a possibility you could have a stroke or a heart attack or something like this. But he's found right here where this homeless community is at. Did he go out there with mental health issues? Somebody getting an altercation with somebody and somebody hurt him? I mean, it's unclear yet. And I'm sure in the next couple of days, I will know more about the situation with him and what is actually going on in the case. Right now, like I said, it's just a lot of rumors, a lot of just stuff coming out that's, very vague. Okay. So prayers to his family. From my understanding, his dad had passed away just a few years ago. one thing we're not is promised tomorrow. None of us are, right? And like there's a lot of people, if you got mental health issues in your family, right? This is important because listen, a lot of us got crazy ass people in our families. That's one thing in this world. You don't get to pick your family. You're kind of just born into it. And sometimes you got people that have, crazy family members or people that are going through mental health issues. Like, I had a nephew that thought he was an angel and UFOs were coming to get him. He was crazy as shit, right? So you really, all you can really do is try to help these people as much as you can and pray to God that, nothing bad happens to them. Because if you're not in your right state of mind and you go up to people and you say things that are bizarre or crazy or they feel you're threatening, they could hurt you, right? And that's always scary because people don't know you're crazy, right? They don't know. They're not a doctor. They just see you coming up wilding out, and next thing you know, they done did something to hurt you, or he's done something because of the mental health issues and hurt himself. All right, so that's just sad news today coming out. I don't. Here's the thing: I don't want to see anybody lose their life. Especially that's having mental health problems, and they're reaching out and begging for help, and they don't get it. Right? That's one thing I've always said that we don't take real serious in this country, and I think it's the number one problem to deal with a lot of homelessness and a lot of drug abuse. It's just mental health, right, is not taken seriously in this country. There's so many crazy ass people out there that are not being taken care of and not getting the treatments and the medicines and things they need to keep their minds right. And we end up with situations like this. Or they're like, you may not have insurance, but you're mentally not there. And, then the hospitals won't treat you, or the doctors won't take you, or they won't see, or they won't find a facility that can take you because of certain situations like this. Now, I've seen this type of stuff happen, but the worst way it can end is the way this has ended today. Now, also in the title, you see Gracelyn Vick. Now, people were hitting me up all day about this, but I usually don't go live on Sundays, right? It's Monday morning now. So, but Sunday is usually the day I take to spend with PJ, the family. We watch TV. We do Turtle Island on Sundays, but usually for the most part, I don't usually do a whole lot of true crime stuff. But people started hitting me up earlier today. Thank you to Beautiful Sunflower and other people that have been hitting me up talking about the search for this little girl. In the beginning, I always hope for the best and I pray for the best. Gracelyn Vick, little girl, goes missing today around noon. Okay? She goes missing around noon today. The police put out, let me see if I can pull this stuff up for you guys. Give me 1 second. Let me shrink this. Okay. So basically, let me pull this over here so I can share it with you guys. And this is sad too. This is a sad situation here. Let me share the screen. Add to stage. Here we go. This is earlier today. This is from 3 hours ago, or when this screenshot was taken from 3 hours. So basically, this is hours ago. At noon, they were looking for this little young girl, right? And it just says on April 13th, 2025, Henderson County deputies respond to the area of Teller Road and Saucer Fairley Road in reference to a missing 6-year-old female, Gracelyn Vick. Okay. Gracelyn's family advised that she went outside to play in the front yard apparently around 12 p.m. and was missing from the yard shortly after. Gracelyn is a white female about 4 foot tall, has short blonde hair and brown eyes. Gracelyn was last seen wearing a white skirt, pink shorts, and no shoes. Gracelyn responds to both Gracelyn and Gracie. Harrison County. Sorry, guys, I don't have my glasses on. Harrison County Sheriff's Office is searching the area with ATVs, helicopters, and on foot. With the Gulf Coast Rescue, also scene assistance with search. Gracie, if anyone has any information, please contact Harrison County Sheriff's Office. And And basically, it's the sheriff's office's number. 6 hours later, okay, 6 hours later, they find the body of Gracelyn. Trigger warning, guys. She's a beautiful little girl, 6 years old. And now what I'm hearing now is that the body was recovered in a shed on the family property. I'm hearing that this is some type of foul play. Okay. It looks like the mother's boyfriend or new husband, I'm not quite sure, has been arrested in connection to this death. All right. So whatever's going on, it's pretty bad. Let me pull this up. Body of missing girl found. Let me blow it up.
The Friends and Family event has arrived at J. Allen Ford on Highway 49 in Gulfport. All month long, buy 4 tires and get $100 off because every Ford likes a new pair of shoes. When you think savings on tires, think J. Allen Ford, where savings and...
Oh, God, I didn't want that to happen. Hold on. What the hell? Okay, so let's just get kicked down here. Maybe it wasn't a video. Deputies were originally called to the area of Teller Road and Salsa Ferry Road after receiving Gracie's disappearance. Her family told investigators that she was last seen heading outside to play in their yard around 12. Okay. A search ended around 6 p.m. Gracie's body was found in the vicinity of the family's property. While investigators didn't confirm any foul play, crime tapes surround the scene. We will update the story as we learn more information. Okay. So, but what I am hearing now, this is just what I'm hearing right now, that the mother's boyfriend had something to do with this disappearance. Okay. Let me pull this up. Okay. PJ has just sent me something from WTKR. Let me see what this is. Yeah, he was found in a pond. All right, here we go. This is back onto the Shane Stosdale case, but I just got it sent to me, so I want to show you guys this. This is what we were talking about just the other day with that caller. Right here. As soon as we get past this commercial. I hate these damn commercials.
I'm standing a ways away from a recovery scene here in Chesapeake out of respect for a family. But all day we've been seeing a large crowd gathered, emotional, worried that a body police recovered is their loved one. Here's drone video of the scene at a pond near Woodlake Drive and Sentinel Drive near a shopping center in Chesapeake. That's where police were called to just after 2 Sunday afternoon. You can see police tape up around the water and the dive team working. Police said they were able to locate the body, but we don't have any indication of who that person is just yet. Police also did not provide details on how long that person...
Well, we know who the person is. It's Sean Stosdale. Like I said, our families know each other. Sad situation. I shop at this shopping center is just right down the street from me. And like I said, you see the woods here, guys, behind it. Right across the street here, a lot of homeless people live in the woods back here. Okay. And also, if you cross the road right here, there's a big homeless encampment over here. So maybe I'm just hoping somebody didn't put him in the lake. Or, you know, like I said, everything's unsure yet, but we knew he was missing. Everybody knew he was missing. Our area is, believe it or not, if you're from this area, everybody kind of knows everybody. You seen the caller called in the other night. She knew all the people I knew. I knew all the people she knew. Like, it's a pretty big area, but it's pretty still small community. Like, everybody knows everybody. If you don't know the person directly, you know somebody that knows them, kind of situation.
person had been there, but they do say they are investigating. Of course, this is a developing situation, so make sure to stick with us on air and online for updates. In Chesapeake, Erica Craven, WTKR News 3.
Now, if I'd have knew what was going on, or I didn't know to this evening, Tiffany actually called me, and her mother's really good friends with their family, and this horrible situation to be in. This is a situation no family really wants to be in. And like I said, back onto the little girl, like, rumors are coming out about the mom's boyfriend and things like that. Let me see what else I got on that. Here's a picture of Sean right here. This was the wanted poster of him. And hold on, guys. Hold on. I'm having some technical problems here. Right here. So rest in peace to this young man, 35 years old. And this is who they found in the lake. All right. Let me blow it up a little bit bigger for you guys. So here he is. Chesapeake Police Department is attempting to locate a missing 38-year-old. Okay, it says 30. Oh, it's okay. I ain't got my glasses on. It looks like 35 from here, but it's 38. Sean Stosdale was last seen sitting on the curb in the parking lot of Chesapeake General Hospital in Chesapeake, Virginia on April 4th, 2025. He was last seen wearing a black hat, brown, maroon shirt, and gray shorts. He has a tattoo of a rubber duck with stars around it on his left hand and a cross tattoo on his forearm and the Grim Reaper Wicked Moon tattoo on his left shoulder. Sean is suffering from mental illness and may need medical attention. His family is concerned for his safety and well-being. If you have any information about Sean's whereabouts, contact the Chesapeake Police. Well, sorry, man. That rest in peace to him. You just like, man, you got to take these mental health issues seriously. Like I said, and the rumor I'm hearing is he was turned away at the hospital. Okay, he was turned away at the hospital. Now, I don't know how true that is. I don't want to say anything bad about the hospital because that same hospital saved my life. Okay, that exact same hospital. You hear good stories about it. You hear bad stories about the hospital. But my stay there was it was good. The people took really good care of me. They, I could have died, and they made me feel pretty confident that they were going to keep me alive. Well, that's what they were telling me anyway. So, when I was laying there telling the doctor, look, man, I don't want to die, and he's like, look, I'm going to do my best to keep you alive. Right. But they got to tell you, hey, there's a chance you could pass away. If there's anything you need to let your family know or things you need to say that shit now. Right. Because you about to go in here and there's a possibility you might not come back out. And it's a really scary situation. So them doctors that were there, they were wonderful, right? So to hear that this is something that possibly could have went down, it makes me think, well, wow, man, because I thought that people did a great job on me, and saved my life. But if you got insurance and maybe they didn't know that this, was a life altering situation, that there's a possibility that this dude could end up dead leaving that hospital. And basically that's what happened, so sad situation. Now let me see what else I got on this little girl that went missing. And you got to watch who you have around your kids. Okay, that's really important. You let the wrong people around your children. And you remember, what was it? Audrey Cunningham, the guy that was living in the backyard. We have the whole Stephen Stern situation. So, okay, let me see some. I know Sunflower sending me a bunch of stuff earlier on this today. Okay, so she sent me an invite to the Facebook group. Let's see. There were some text messages that I think came out. Somebody had posted. Let me see what this is. Okay, even earlier today, people were saying they were hearing bad rumors, but the sheriff's department is not answering press inquiries yet. They said to stand by for information. I'll keep you posted when I hear. Stay hopeful and don't believe unverified information yet. Well, her death is not it's verified at this point. Okay. Um, People are posting that their nanny was their family member was a nanny for this family. She saw how mean they were to this girl. My sister reported them to DCFC. They made her put the girl in a corner for 12 hours at a time. They got mad if she didn't. What is this the same story? Okay, I think that's a different story. Okay, I don't think that has anything to do. Hold on. I get so many emails about missing kids. I just want to make sure this is right. I'm going to see. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm getting everything right. Okay, somebody's saying yes, they found her. She's my little cousin. It's not good. Please let police do their job. I'm hopeful everyone will respect our family. Thanks. Okay, let me close that. I could have swore there was like a. Let me see something. Okay. So just vague information right now coming out, and I'm sure there'll be more information about this case. Dolly, please say a prayer for my husband. He's having a pacemaker put in the morning. I'm terrified. Mama PI, prayers for your husband. And listen, here's one good thing we do got these days, good doctors, right? Um, this ain't the 60s. It's 2025. Medicines and procedures have come a long way in our country and shit globally. So hopefully everything will be okay. But don't worry, because you don't need that stress either. Be concerned, but don't worry yourself to death. And just make sure if you have any questions, you ask the doctor that you're there with them, and make sure you let him know how much you love him before he does go in there and do that procedure. Right? There's tons of people that go through these surgeries. They make it out perfectly fine. Especially because I know this now because I do the cardio rehab. There's a lot of people in there with me that have like pacemakers or they have different arrhythmias and different problems with the heart. And everybody in the class made it. I'm sure there's some that have it, but everybody that was in the class with me, they survived heart attacks, strokes and different things like that, and are rehabbing right now to get back and better. So just keep your faith strong and prayers high, and I'm sure everything will be okay with your husband. Now, look, we've seen terrible people let terrible people around their kids, right? And it sounds like this is the case with Gracelyn Vick. Now, I don't have all the details on the man yet. I'm sure by tomorrow I'll have all the information on who he is, what he's charged with. And I had heard rumors that she was found with her clothes off. I'm not positive this is some speculation right now because, like I said, there's not very many details on it, and people are saying a bunch of different things.
Hit the like button. Dolly gotta eat. Rolling on the floor
Dolly
laughing
gotta
emoji.
eat. That is true. Dolly gotta eat. So say a prayer for this family. We don't know exactly the circumstances on this little girl yet. But what we do know, like I said, is you got situations like Maddie Soto. You got the Audrey Cunningham situation where you just allow these dudes around your kids and not knowing that they're monsters. Now, I believe Jen Soto, of course, knew that monster, right? Knew that Stephen Stearns was a monster, knew what he was doing to Madeline Soto. Okay. I believe we're pretty confident in that we know Jen knew what was going on. Now, I don't know what in the world would make a man unalive a 6-year-old? Okay. Or what man would want to essay what kind of sick, perverted ass mind you got to have to do something like that to a child? You know, but these people that are doing these things, these horrific crimes of unaliving kids, they need to pay severely. Like public executions, I don't know if we need to bring back public executions or what we need to do. But we do need to protect our kids and other people's kids. It takes a village to raise a child. And, you know, and the police looked like they were right on top of this. They wrapped this up in a matter of 6 hours. Audrey Cunningham was found just below another creator's home in Texas. Yes, well, you know, he put her in the water, and he, you know, then he got into jail and started acting crazy, you know, and throwing doo doo and just weird. What's with these people that, you know, you just gotta watch who you have around your kids, especially when you have daughters. I mean, even sons. I mean, I guess these days it don't make these sickos like boys, girls, animals. I mean, they're out there, right? So you got to protect your kids. You got to keep your eye on them. You can't just, no matter how much you trust somebody, right? If they ain't blood, or even if they're blood, you got to stay on people to make sure nothing really happens to your children. You got to be more of these hover parents. You don't want your kid to end up on this board. You know, Michael Vaughn, Summer Wells, Sebastian Rogers. And the scary thing about this is we know that Sebastian was on the spectrum and he loved water, right? Sebastian Rogers loved water. And they're pulled so many kids out of rivers and lakes. And sometimes when they go into the water, they're not found because, you know, I learned a lot from the Raleigh Strain case. You know, you'll go underwater and you'll sink. You don't always float. Your body has to fill up with gases, and it takes a certain amount of time to make those gases float. And then you will float to the top of the water, right? Just like when we seen they were looking for Sean, they were sending in divers. They're not sending in divers because you on the bottom of the water, the top of the water. They're sending divers in because you're underwater. So, and then, you know, we know in the Sebastian Rogers cases, a lot of lakes and rivers were searched. Yeah, Sean Stosdale in a pond was found. Yes. We know a lot of these rivers and lakes were searched in the Sebastian Rogers case. Now, trigger warning, guys. Okay, because I know a lot of people want to be hopeful in this. And another thing is, you know, I know his parents watch. I know Seth watches this channel. Chris and Katie watch this channel. Like, y'all might want to tune off of this. Okay. All right. I'm going to give y'all a couple seconds to tune off just in case you're watching a replay of this. You probably don't want to listen to this. Okay. If you're family with Sebastian Rogers. I don't believe Sebastian's with us anymore. Okay. Now, this is just my opinion. I have no proof to this. We've been 14 months. 14 months. I don't know what's up with Tennessee. Listen, Virginia, we find people here. You don't go missing and we don't find you. If we don't find you, somebody's going to fucking jail. Okay? Look at Corey Bixby in prison for 40 years. We haven't found him, but we put his daddy in prison. We know he's deceased. And we either find you or somebody's responsible for what has happened. Okay? Now, I just got this bad feeling that something bad has happened to Sebastian Rogers. Foul play, no foul play. At this point, doesn't matter. The boys, I don't think the boy is with us. Right? I don't think the boy is with us. I want to see more people out there searching for him. Now, here's the thing. Y'all remember baby Dane, the last little baby that just went into the river, right? Police searched that location. Okay, they searched that location. They didn't find him. Diver comes in. He's a YouTube creator. He left Mexico, came here because he heard about the case, jumped in the water. He knew the police had searched there, but he said, I searched my own way. They searched their way. And he found that baby. Okay. Look at Collie Rodney. I just seen Upchurch make a video on this about him getting sued. But Collie Rodney was right there in the water, and the police searched there and didn't find her. Now, we had a caller in the very beginning, Stony Stone, called in and said, Collie Rodney's in that water 10 feet off the bank. He said he had satellite imagery and from Google Maps or whatever, but I don't know. But he knew. He was right. I mean, if it was just a good guess, it was a good guess. But he knew she was there. So Upchurch put up that reward in AWP, right? See, you know, I always thought Upchurch just gave them the car, and then they didn't want the car, so I thought he gave them $100,000. But what he actually did was he gave them the car and $100,000. And Collie Rodney's family still sued him. Oh my God. The one dude that gave up $200,000 for the reward of that child got sued by the family. And I think he lost. Okay. He's had to pay him more, or he's fighting it right now. And I think he's fighting it still. Yeah, I think I'm right. He's fighting it still because he said it don't cost, he don't care if it costs him $10 million. He's going to fight it to the end. Now, I think he's wrong in what he's saying. Okay. But I think it did help get the right people there to search. And of course, AWP was in the water less than 30 minutes and they found Collie Rodney. I don't know if Sebastian Rogers is in some water around that area. Okay, but I trust in the fact that just because something's been searched, don't mean it don't need to be searched again. Okay, remember the Hatfields and McCoys. That fugitive was on the run. Police, canine dogs, everything searched those woods. Didn't find them. They start chasing buzzards. Right, the Hatfields and McCoys, they go into the woods, they recover the body. So now we have these intelligence agencies that speak on Sebastian Rogers, and even I talked to him, and I said, well, why ain't y'all searching for Sebastian? Well, we don't think he's out there. Not that you don't know he's out there, but you don't think. You don't think he's out there. My thing is this. If you have, let's just say, I don't know what the reward is right now, but they say it's something crazy, like almost $500,000. You got $500,000, okay? But you ain't brought in no professional search teams, no professional divers, no experts, no nothing in this case. Why not? Why not? What good is the reward if somebody didn't take the $50,000 reward? They didn't take the $100 million and the $100,000 reward, $200,000 reward, $300,000. What do you think? Somebody needs $1 million to tell you where the kid is? Why ain't that money being spent in search efforts for this kid? Okay, we should be seeing, if you got $500,000, we should be seeing Sebastian Rogers commercials, but we're not. I don't understand it, why these people are not reaching out to really good people. Like if I seen a dude that just found these kids, and this dude has recovered all kind of people, that diver that was there with baby Dane, why ain't the family reaching out to this guy and begging and pleading him, hey, I'll pay you. Come to Hendersonville and search the area lakes around here because the police could have missed the child. We've seen it. Like, listen, I ain't brand new to true crime. This ain't my first day on the job, right? I've seen the police search for people, not find them. People go out there, experts in what they do, and find these kids. That's why I don't care when I go to search for somebody if it's already been searched. I don't care. Because you may have missed something. You may have overlooked something. But I think if you've got all this money to do these things, that say you have this crazy reward, a lot of people don't even believe it's true. Why not spend some of that money in the search efforts for this child? And even in the reward, it's like these people are taking digs at the family. They're so convinced that the family has done something that nobody wants to search. Well, here's the thing. If the family did do something, let's just say hypothetically, Chris and Katie does have something to do with it. Don't you think that's even more reason to search? They act like they had a way of getting this kid hundreds of miles away from this house in the middle of the night, but no cameras picked up anything. It boggles my mind, right? Because the whole time about this, a lot of people think I've been giving everybody a hard time in this, and I probably have, right? Thank you. Juan, however you say his name right there. Herdea. It's on the screen. Y'all see it. Found baby Dane. Awesome dude. That man is an angel. Okay? An angel. That family could still be crying right now. I mean, I'm sure they still mourning the death of baby Dane, but I mean, they could still be in that not knowing what happened mode if it wasn't for this man. And you know what? He's a crowd-funded channel just like this one. People give him donations and he goes out just like me, right? So you see how important that is, right? Now, me, I ain't had that luck, right? I haven't, I'm still homing my skills, but maybe one day I can bring that same relief to a family. Not that I want to, but maybe one of these days something like that may happen. And it's because of awesome people out there that donate and support the channel. And I don't mean you got to physically donate money, but I mean like liking the videos, sharing the videos, stuff like that. And even when you donate, all of it helps us people that get out here and try to spread awareness and search for missing people. Okay. A lot of people don't realize how important it is until somebody in their family goes missing. Then they're like, oh my God. And then they join these groups and stuff like that. Don't wait until it happens to you. You have to be proactive, right? Join the cause now and help. The more people that take part in searching for missing people, the faster we're going to get answers, right? So you don't want to wait till something bad happens and then you start supporting people that look for missing people. Help them now, okay? Help them now. Be a part of it. Even volunteer with them or go out there with them and help. Because I believe the more people that do it and the more people that get up here on YouTube and walk the walk instead of just talking the talk, we will have better outcomes. And listen, if it brings one family closure, it was worth it all. And in the beginning of this channel, I said this, that's what I said to myself. I said, if I can help one family, I'll feel like this channel has been a success. And I know I've helped plenty of families, right? And still I keep going, but we're going to take it further and further as far as we can go with it, because there needs to be people doing what we're doing here. And I want to see more people or encourage more people to join up and do things like I'm doing. Anybody can get on a microphone and sit here and talk, but it's putting in the groundwork. The boots on the ground is what people call it. We need as many of those boots as we can get. Okay. Now I can do two things. I can post a link and y'all can join me on StreamYard, or I can post a phone number and y'all can call in. If y'all want to do a StreamYard and some of y'all want to come up here and chop it up with me and chat, press 1 in the chat. If you just want me to open up the phone lines, press 2. Okay. And we'll keep it open discussion, true crime. We can talk about some of the things that we're talking about here tonight, or whatever you guys want to talk about for a little bit. Mab, you want to come up? Okay, Mab was quick with that one. You must need somebody to talk to tonight, Mab. Are you lonely? Are you lonely? All right. All right, but you can come up, Mab. Maybe what we'll do is I'll 1 and 2. Okay. Okay, well, what I'll do is I'll post a link to come up, and then I'll take some calls too. How about that? Sound good? I see people want to do more calls. Okay, but Mab, you can come up here with me if you want. Here's the link to get in. All right. And remember, if you come up on the live, on the video, no smoking, no drinking, okay, no alcohol anyway. You can drink soda and shit like that. No smoking, no drinking, no drugs, no alcohol, none of that stuff. Be respectful, especially if you come up here on be fully clothed. Okay. I want no naked people in my backstage. So be clothed, no smoking, no drinking, keep it respectful. Okay. If you come into the backstage. And with that, I'll open the phone lines too. Give me 1 second. All right, somebody just jumped in the backstage. Oh, it's Mr. Mab. What's up, Mab?
What's up? How's it going?
Not a whole lot. You came in hot, loud tonight.
I was just hanging out with Truth and Clue over there on the panel.
Oh, were you? What were they discussing?
We were discussing true crime. Talked about Turtle Island for a couple minutes, and then we started talking about true crime.
What true crime stuff were they speaking on tonight?
I don't know, 4 or 5 different cases. They were asking me if I believed Richard Allen was guilty, and I said no.
Oh, yeah.
Gabby Petito. We talked about Riley Strain. We talked about a lot of cases.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, them are good cases. I mean, I just mentioned Riley Strain, and I haven't brought nothing about Gabby Petito. But speaking of Gabby Petito, the buffoons, if it wasn't for the buffoons, the YouTubers out there shooting their videos, that we wouldn't have found Gabby Petito like we did. We may have never found her. But they just happened to drive by that van and seen Stephen Stearns. Well, seen the van, and then they put it together that they could be in that area, and they searched that area and they recovered Gabby Petito.
Matty Soto.
Huh?
Matty Soto.
No, that's how they found Gabby Petito.
Oh, yes. The van.
Yeah, the buffoons were the YouTube creators that were shooting videos, and they drove past his van.
They were just looking for a place to camp, and it just so happened to be on their video.
Yeah, thank God they were there. As a matter of fact, you look at the whole situation with Matty Soto, is that if he hadn't got that flat tire and that driver seeing the car, they might not have found Matty Soto like they did.
Thank God gave him that flat tire.
I mean, yeah, I believe, a lot of this stuff happens for a reason. And Riley Strain, that was luck. Riley Strain was luck, because we know now that the people that were down there searching that river, the Raging Cajuns, they are a joke. They're an absolute joke.
They're just grifters.
And thank God that dude was working and walked out onto the deck, and he seen Riley Strain in the water. So
we talked about not Gabby Petito, but Kylie Rodney.
Yeah, I just was mentioning Kylie Rodney in the water, and it goes into this, I don't understand why these people are not searching, especially for Sebastian Rogers. Awesome young man. I mean, what we've seen of Sebastian it just breaks your heart, and they're saying they got 500,000 or 400. I don't know what the reward is, but the thing is this:
50,000.
Why not take some of that money and bring in some experts, or bring in search parties, or do some things with that money? Because apparently it don't matter how big the reward is, nobody's calling in and giving anything up. It has
probably on private property anyway.
I mean, possible, but listen, here's one thing I've learned, and I've jumped many a fence. Okay, I've searched plenty of private property. Thank God I ain't got shot, but most people, when you go up to them and say, "Hey, you're looking for a missing kid," they don't care if you search their property.
Yeah.
Especially if it's just country folk, they don't care. They're like, "Okay, be careful, don't get hurt." They'll be like that. Or we ride this property, we 4-wheel it. There's nobody out here. We've searched, we've looked ourselves, but I've never ran across somebody yet, not even yet, that has been an asshole when you tell them you're looking for a missing kid. Usually people will say, "What can I do to help you?" Any good person. And if you did become an asshole, I'd be skeptical of you.
Yeah.
Then I start droning over your house. You know what I'm saying? Because I'd be
I'd
like,
take
well,
a cadaver dog and I'd pull off every exit, miles around where Sebastian's house is, and I'd run that dog.
I mean, that's basically what I've done in the Summer Wells case, and I've done it a little bit in Sebastian, but not as much as I've done it in Summers, because I thought the same thing in the Summer Wells case that, well, hey, I need to check the places that people could pull off because there's, you hear rumors, a lot of the rumors are insinuating that Candace had something to do with hiding Summer. Now, I don't know if that's true. My theory's always kind of centered around that, a tragic accident, and they've done something with her. So I've always done that when I go down there looking for Summer. I'll pull off anywhere you can pull over, and I'll start droning that area, or I'll start walking up in the woods a little ways in them areas. But it sounds like it's easy, but if you ever been to like Hawkins County, Tennessee, or it is the middle of fucking nowhere, and there's a billion places. I mean,
And
billion.
plus, your floor of the forest or whatever is thick. It's a foot thick with branches and weeds, and there could be a body or a skeleton sitting right there in front of you, and you never see it.
Yeah, and you got to remember that these people that do these things, and if they are hiding a body, they know that area better than you do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sure that Don and Candace Wells, and even to say Chris and Katie, they know them woods around their house better than I do, or the big wooded area. All these people are gonna know these areas better than an outsider.
Right.
But I think of stuff like that too. And like I said, if you was to be skeptical and I asked you, hey, can you care if I look around? There's a missing kid, and you started to act funny and like, I don't want you on my property, get away from here. I'm instantly going to become skeptical of you or suspicious of you. Like, why wouldn't you? Because a good person would never tell somebody that. They would want to help. They would do their best. Like, okay, yeah, I'll look. I don't really want people walking around. You could get hurt here. I'll take a look myself. If I see something, I'll let you know. I would understand that. But if you were just completely like, yo, get the fuck away from here, I'm going to, even if you ain't got nothing to do with it, it's going to make me skeptical. Now, listen, there was a young girl that went missing from here, and I live in the woods. All right. Detectives came up to the door and they said, hey, we got this missing young lady. She's been missing for like 4 days. And she was last seen in this general area, like in this, not my house, but I mean, in this neighborhood area. So they were like, do you care if we look through your woods?
Stephanie Dameron in Maine now missing 200 plus days.
Okay. 200 days. Okay. I have to look into that. I'm not for sure about the case. And, they asked me, they said, do you care if we look in the woods? I was like, look anywhere you want. You need to, anywhere on my property, anything, you're more than welcome to do whatever you need to do. If you want, I can go out with you. They were like, no, that's not necessary. I was like, all right, if you need anything, just come knock on the door, and they went all through the woods. And they didn't really search any of like my sheds or anything. Because they were shut and locked up and stuff, but they did go out into the woods and walk around the woods and look around in the woods. And then she was later found. Bad thing was she was found deceased, but she was found in a wooded area, but on the other side of the neighborhood. Like there's another, like if you cross the neighborhood, there's a whole bunch of houses, but then you get to the end of all the other houses, there's another big patch of woods, and they found her in those woods. So
what case are we taking calls about?
I don't have the did I open the phone lines? Hold on, let me open the phone lines. You won't be able to hear you'll be able to hear the calls. They just won't be able to hear you, Mab. So if there's something you want to tell the caller, you got to tell me, and then I can tell the caller. Okay. So give me 1 second. Let me pull up the phone line so Rose can call us. She might be a bitch.
Jimmy.
She has a theory. All right. I'm gonna let her talk you to death, man. I don't know what you're talking about. Give me a second. Let me put the number up. All right, this is the number, and we can talk about any of these cases. I've just been keeping it pretty open tonight. I spoke on the Sean Stosdale being found in the lake. I spoke on Gracelyn Vick, which they believe the boyfriend or stepfather has something to do with this. And from my understanding, I don't know if it's rumors right now, but I hear he's been arrested. So I'm sure we'll know more if he's been charged tomorrow. And I'll try
I haven't heard of either one of those cases.
Yeah, these are, well, they just happened. Like Gracelyn Vick happened today. and 6 years old. I don't know. You just, it goes back into that whole Stephen Stearns thing. You let the wrong people around your kid and you think this person's a good guy. And the next thing you know, he's a damn axe murderer, So,
Crazy.
all right, guys, the phone line is open if you want to call in and touch in on any of these cases, or you want to tell us about a case. Go ahead, hit the phone line. Maybe this is how I hear about a lot of these things, mostly through you guys. Like, I can't cover everything or I can't follow everything. So people hit me up and they'll send me this missing kid or this missing kid. And, most of the time, if I believe it's a runaway, I don't usually talk about it. Okay. Because kids run away every day.
Idaho 4, Mab. Idaho 4.
All right. Hold on. We got a call coming in. Dolly.
Yeah, Dolly. This is Eric Tuller from WV.
WV. You got to turn me down in background first, or we're going to get a bad echo.
Okay. Hold on. Are you going to stay in Idaho for a little while, or are you just going to, come and go as,
You got to turn us off in the background, or we're going to have a bad echo.
Okay,
yeah,
hold
turn
on.
us off on your TV or your phone or whatever you're on. Just turn that off.
Okay, hold on. I'll mute my TV. Yeah, I just want to know if you.
I'm gonna be staying in Idaho for a little while. Yeah, I'm gonna fly in, get me a hotel, stay up there for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So I'll be there covering the Brian Kohlberger case, the whole Idaho 4 thing. I mean, I believe he's guilty, and I think that.
I think he's definitely guilty, and plus they maybe I can't say, but maybe somebody else involved.
I mean, there's the possibility of that. And hopefully we'll be able to get into the courtroom and I'll be able to bring you some firsthand action of what's going on.
Yeah.
But if not, I'm still going to be outside broadcasting. I'm going to try to do it like I did the Adam Montgomery case, where I'm in the courtroom and live streaming it, have somebody live streaming it. And then when I come out of the courtroom, I'll go live here, jump right into the stream and tell you what's going on inside the courtroom as far as what I see, the jury and, all that stuff.
Brian could have had some help.
Mab says Brian could have had some help. Can you hear him on the phone, Mab?
Yeah.
Okay.
They might have been a little help. I don't know.
Well, I just, there's the whole thing of, there's lack of evidence. There's no blood in his car. There's no blood in his house. There's no DNA. There's no fibers. There's no murder weapon. There's none of these things. And it just seems so convenient that he leaves a sheaf with his DNA. Now that could be an F up. Listen, there's no perfect crime. It just seems too good to be true.
It's indicative of his first time.
I understand that part.
Yeah. So,
but man, I'm telling you, I hope they ain't screwed it up so bad.
Yeah, I don't think they have. I think circumstantial evidence is strong against them. As far as physical evidence, there's very little, right? There's some like the touch DNA on the knife sheath, and the fact that they can prove that he ordered a knife sheath off Amazon. I think that's pretty damaging. But there's a bunch of other circumstantial stuff, like he had no alibi. He his actions and him fleeing, just a bunch of it. His phone pinging close to the location. Nothing solid, but it's a whole bunch of little things that add up to a lot.
Well, yeah, that is true. I didn't look at it that.
Okay. Well, hey, look, I appreciate you calling in. You be good. Yeah.
Hey.
All right. Peace. Dolly.
Hi, Dolly. This is Kai.
Look at that. Okay, the female cover. We used to have Johnny that called in. We called him Cobra Kai too. So what's up, Kai?
So I just want a quick take on your opinion. You know, there was an Elliot Roger who in Santa Barbara was an incel, and you know, remember he did those, he murdered those 6 students in Santa Barbara, and then we came, you know, there was
Papa Rogers is the one that happened in Santa Barbara. Did he kill all women?
I'm not sure. I believe there was a couple of men involved because of the way the murders happened. I'm not completely sure, but so they're saying Papa Rogers was like him being, you know, like, you know, wanting to be like the Papa, you know, like the main person.
Yeah, I don't think. Here's my thing. I don't think Papa Rogers or Brian Kohlberger were the same person. I just don't. I just never thought that. I think Papa Rogers is some fucking fat weirdo that is sitting back eating Cheetos and posting stuff on the internet.
And the picture just happened to look exactly like Brian Kohlberger.
And I agree I agree to disagree, but what about the picture?
Well,
when they
Mab just said the same thing. You can't hear what Mab's saying, but I have to repeat it for you because I can hear Mab, you just can't. He said that Papa Rogers' picture looked just like Brian Kohlberger.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's a little strange. Maybe that maybe the Papa Rogers person has a source inside the FBI or police department as why he may have knew the things he knew. You know, I think.
And then he got kicked out of that, or he got, you know, kicked out of that. They took screenshots, and then he created his another Facebook group and said like everything is like no holds barred. And so then all that came in. And then I understand, you know, I forget what it was, but you know, that list or the subject matter that he had to present as an assignment as far as how to cover up a crime scene and what to wear and everything like that, you know, shoes and hair, you know, hair fibers and all of that.
Yeah, but you think about this, Kai.
I mean,
he did all that, was able to cover up every blood drop, every hair, every fiber, everything, but leaves a knife sheath with touch DNA in the house. That seems so odd, right? That he commits the perfect crime but makes the biggest mistake. You know, like I ain't saying it can't happen.
But again,
I think that indicates that
not
it was
trying
his
to cut
first
you off.
time.
I guess Madison was his main target, which, you know, her boots were on the outside, and you know, that was the window that he, you know, that was right outside of where he parked. Maybe he you know, the other girl, you know, was in there. He didn't, you know, suspect her to you know, to be there, and then ended up, you know, running into maybe Xana with
Ethan.
the Ethan and the DoorDash. So I'm wondering, because you're so good at this, do you think that he caught her alive while she was eating? Because the DoorDash driver and him coming into the home were literally minutes away.
Yeah.
I mean, how could that have been possible and him not have? Do you think there were 2 people? Do you think there was one person?
I think the crime could have been committed with one person easily. 2 of the victims are in bed, not defending themselves. Easy. That's easy target, right? That's easy work. You walk into a room and I'm sleeping, you could easily unalive me. Okay, because I ain't gonna know the first shot's coming, and if the first shot's deadly, then you're kind of out back after that first stabbing. How much can you defend yourself when somebody sticks a knife through your chest? So I figured the first girls were easy work, and it probably wasn't as noisy as you think it was, considering it was probably quick. When he got downstairs,
Correct.
that's where it got loud. They were completely awake, and they're trying to defend themselves and fight for their lives. So that may have been where the struggle came in, and if that struggle hadn't happened, he may have killed Bethany and Dylan, or at least Dylan, but that struggle took place.
Xana and
Ethan.
Dylan, or Xana
Ethan.
and or
Yeah.
Ethan and
Yeah,
Xana,
because
right?
Dylan's room was right down the hallway in the house. So you go out the bedroom. So the stairs are right beside where Ethan and Dylan's room were, because their room was in the front of the house. So when he came downstairs,
Correct.
right? But Dylan had already heard the dog barking upstairs. So because remember, the dog was on the 3rd floor. So they heard the commotion upstairs. So there was some commotion on the 3rd floor also. We don't know how much commotion, because the dog, the only thing she brought out was the dog was barking so loud. But then when he come down, there was no way Dylan didn't hear exactly what was going on, because the room is less than 10 feet away from her room. And the only thing that really separates it is when you come out down the stairs is a little bathroom that's right beside Dylan's room.
Right.
So
correct.
I think the tussle took place between him and Ethan. He got scared, and when he went out, he may have been so focused on getting out the house that even though Dylan was standing right in front of him, he didn't see her, because he was trying to get the hell out of there real fast, and he was in a hurry, and I don't know how he didn't see her, but he didn't. I think if he would have seen her, he would have killed her.
My thoughts exactly, and I don't understand how he could have. So I don't understand how that footprint, or the van's
that they never answered. They
whatever.
never answered that. But we got to remember that crime scene was contaminated with them kids, right? Like when they were passing the phone around and all these people were in the house, somebody stepped there that had a Van shoe on, and it wasn't the same size as Brian Kohlberger's. No, so that footprint wasn't Brian Kohlberger's, but then again, the crime scene was contaminated, and they tore the house down, which I don't think they should have done. I think they should have let the jury go into the house, so they could see the surroundings of how things transpired. They did do a 3D model of the house, and they did 3D video of the house, so they'll have it on video and the models of the house. But
the acoustics is the most important thing about the house.
Same thing.
What could they
I'm
hear?
a visual person. Like, I need to see. I would need to go in and look at things like 3D.
That's how I am. I need to see it too.
I
need to see it for myself to see what could be heard and what you've seen and how good you've seen it. So.
But how do you feel about the time of his phone being turned off, the stargazing, him going back home, the thing, the
It's
picture,
bad.
A few hours later with the thumbs up, like Ted Bundy did. There was a Ted Bundy, picture where he did the same thing.
I believe it's really damaging. That's what I believe is going to get him, is so much of the circumstantial evidence that he can't explain. Like, why was you out stargazing? Who the hell goes out stargazing in the middle of the night? Was it?
And then
was there a solar event going on that made you, just all of a sudden want to go stargazing? So.
And then go around the block so many different times, or go around that area so many different times until maybe he felt it was clear. So I guess
he was stalking that whole neighborhood, though, because if you remember the story, that there were people getting their cars broken into. The one girl said somebody had stole her underwear and put them in her cup holder in her car. So I believe he was stalking that area. He's a creeper. Even he installed them cameras for that girl, and he had the password to her Wi-Fi so he could watch her in her own house. So I believe that he had been stalking for some time, just like Ted Bundy used to stalk his prey, just like BTK would stalk really bad, and then eventually they work up the nerve to commit the crime. But they watch and watch and watch, and they could be doing it for a couple days, or they could be doing it for a year, and then one day act on their fantasies. So we don't.
And what do you? I completely agree. What do you think about the fact that he was sending the girl that was intended a quarterly, attended his target, that he sent her
That's not true.
DMs like,
That came
"Hi,
out
how
that
are
it
you?"
wasn't him. That wasn't true. He
Oh, it
wasn't
wasn't
friends
him.
with any of the girls on any social media platforms. It originally came
Oh, I
out
didn't
that it
know
was
that.
rumored
Okay.
that it was, but it wasn't. He wasn't. That came out in court that he wasn't friends with any of the girls on social media.
Or wasn't sending any messages
No,
like, "How are you?" Like,
uh-uh,
apparently there was like 3 separate messages, they said.
he wasn't doing it, but
Okay.
that don't mean he wasn't stalking them. And just like a lot of people said, he was in that restaurant, but they don't have any video footage of him ever being in that restaurant where the girls worked at. Yeah.
Right, at that
Yeah.
Mediterranean place.
Vegan.
But
It was a vegan restaurant.
what about the cameras? What about the cameras, and what about the license plates the front license plates that were not there, that they caught the car with no license plates on the front of the on the front of the car 2 different times, and he did not have license
That's
plates on
another
there.
thing that is circumstantial, but I think it's enough that when you put all of it together, it adds a lot of weight that he's guilty. I don't know what you're doing, man, but you're loud. I'm gonna mute you for a second.
Is this like an OJ case, or I mean, I live in California, like
I
in
think
LA,
it's
we
going to be
have
just as big as the OJ case, as far as media attention, and I don't think it's
right.
going to be the trial of the century, but they're saying it is. But who knows? We're going to see real soon. I mean, it'll happen, late August, I think middle of September.
August 11th.
Yeah, so I'll probably be spending
But
my birthday in
what do
Idaho, so
you?
I don't know.
Well, happy birthday! Happy birthday! I mean, I'm sure I'll talk to you before then. But what do you think? What is your I mean, in your head, what
I
do
feel
you
he's going to
feel?
be convicted. He's going to be sentenced to death.
Seriously,
And
yeah.
so be it. I mean, with the evidence they got against him and all the circumstantial evidence, like I said, all the little circumstantial things were small pieces. But if you take all them small pieces and throw them in a pile, you got a big old pile of shit. You know what I'm saying? So then there's a bunch of stuff on them, so that just don't add up. And it's like lightning striking. Yeah, you might get struck by lightning once, but you ain't gonna get struck 5 or 6 times. I don't believe in
Yeah.
coincidences. I just don't believe in coincidences. So,
I don't either. And did you see that the footage of him buying all the stuff? I don't know if it was Lowe's or Home Depot, or all the stuff he was buying, like the buckets and the bleach and all of that.
but he was
And
like a
then,
germaphobe. He wore
his,
gloves all the time. He did weird things. So, I mean, I don't know if that's so suspicious because of who he is and how he acted. Like, didn't want to get dirty, hands. Like, it seemed like he went shopping. They said he would wear surgical gloves to go shopping. When the police kicked in his mama's house, he was wearing surgical gloves, tearing up trash into little pieces, putting it in sandwich baggies. So I mean, he done odd things.
but did you see the footage? Did you see the footage of him at the actual, like, I think it was Lowe's, of him purchasing, like,
No,
all
I
this
haven't.
stuff? No, there's footage of him that they put out of him purchasing all that stuff. For clearing out. There's a footage of him at the Walmart purchasing his Dickies outfit, and then at the Dick's Sporting Goods, him purchasing that mask that shows above his eyebrows, but above, right below his nose. I like you said, there's a lot of, it's
Yeah.
circumstantial. But I just think that's a nail in his coffin. And I really like take, you're very intelligent on this kind of stuff. And so I've been kind of like, well, is this really like gonna like put a nail in the
Yeah,
coffin?
he's done.
Because
He's pretty much done, Kai. I think.
I filed I followed the it's the
Uh-huh.
Clave family page, which is, and they're like, and I guess they recently went to this hearing that he had where they tried to throw out all this
Yeah.
other stuff, and things got let in, and it was a really bad day for him in court. And so it was just like, wow, like I've been following it, but then it kind of like, you get behind, and then my daughter was like, Mom, like, look at this. And I went and I looked at all of it, and I kind of went behind, and I'm like, well, you know what? The only person I really trust to ask their opinion on is Dolly.
Yeah.
And she watches you too, and she's like, yeah, call him and ask him, like, does he really think like
I
this
do.
guy is
I
guilty
do.
or not?
He
And
has
they're
too many
just trying
Ted
to,
Bundy similarities
they're just,
to me too to think it's just coincidental that
right?
it's the eyes. It's the eyes of the window. I didn't come up with this. The eyes are the windows to the soul. Like whoever came up with that knew that is true. Like you some people cannot hide their evil. And I believe he's one of those people that his eyes radiate the evilness. He has that
They
Ted Bundy
do.
cold, solid stare, like like I don't know, like he's empty inside.
And they're trying to blame it on his quote unquote
Oh no,
autism
hell
and
no. Yeah,
all this other stuff that
yeah,
he
I know,
has,
I know. Yeah,
apparently.
everybody's using it. I'm gonna
And
start
then
saying it so I can use it as a crutch. You know what I'm saying? Every time I do something fucked up, be like, "Well, yeah, it must be my mental health kicking in." I don't know. But hey, Kyle, I appreciate you
yeah,
calling
I'm
in.
really, well, Dolly, I don't mean I want to
Okay,
ask
go
you
ahead.
one last question. So Ted Bundy, when he committed those murders, he focused in on the Phi Beta Kappa, like the
Yeah, the
fraternity,
nurses.
the same fraternity that that Koberger focused on, that these girls were involved with. Do you think that's a
Well, I
coincidence?
mean, I'm sure positively he was into serial killers. Like, even that lady that was his professor did the write up on BTK. And what criminology student don't study serial killers? I ain't never been a criminology student, but I've been a fan of horror and killers since I was a kid. So I started reading serial killer books, and not that I've ever wanted to hurt anybody, but it was just something that always interested me. So, I mean, I would say I'm pretty well versed on killers. And if I'm that way without being a criminology student, I think for sure he knew the mind of a killer because he had been wanting to kill people for a while. This ain't something that he woke up one day and said, I'm going to kill somebody. This fetish started a long time ago, and he just now acted on it, or he did before and he just never got caught. Because I truly believe Brian Kohlberg is a serial killer. It just hasn't been proven yet. And when it does, I'm going to tell people I'm the greatest YouTuber ever to live, because when everybody was blaming them kids, Dolly won't. I was like, oh no, this ain't the work of no kids. This is done by somebody that's a serial killer. This is somebody that wants to kill. That if you can.
Do you think he's killed before?
I do. Or I think he's done things in the stalking acts, broken the houses, watched people. If he hasn't killed before, if he hadn't been caught, he would have killed again. So I'm confident that he is a serial killer. If you was to let him go today, he would kill again.
Yeah. And then with him standing silent and all these little things in between all these trials, in between all these court cases, all these other little just things that have been going on with him and his attorney have just been like red flags, like going up, like he's just trying to,
Well, Just like Willow
Anyways,
says, he
but
was definitely
thank
comfortable on his maiden voyage. So you got to think about that. You got to become comfortable, and he was already comfortable. So something.
he
So
was.
all right, Kai, you be good.
Thank you so much,
All
Dolly.
right,
I
peace.
appreciate it. Take care. Okay, and Mab, hi, I see you.
Hey.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Bye-bye.
So look, so last
Whoa.
night, Mab, I went out to a murder mystery dinner. Me and PJ.
Really?
Okay. So a lot of the clues had the word P and J in it. So we're at the table, and it's a bunch of random people. And I think
PJ done it.
yeah, so they were looking at PJ. Hold on for a second. Let me finish this story real fast, and then I'll open the phone lines back up. So everybody's looking at PJ like some of the clues got a P and a J, right? And even this poem that said something about PJ in it. And they're all looking at PJ and they're starting to wonder who we are, right? So I tell them, I was like, look, we're YouTubers. And so one girl at the table, she's looking us up and shit, right? She's over there looking us up. And so we're all, they're suspecting us at first. And then I try to tell them, hey, look, guys, we ain't the killer. You might want to focus on somebody else. But then they're like, that's what the killer would say. Right. So then we got this girl that's sitting with us, and she's part of the show. And we're like, now everybody at the table is looking at her. And then at the end, they all kind of looked over at me and go, well, who do you think done it? Right. And then I told them who I thought done it. And guess who was right?
You were.
Now there's 100 people in the room. 100 people out of 100 people. You know who picked the killer?
Dolly.
Dolly. Right. PJ too helped me. P and PJ had the killer locked in. And what it was everybody wore a name tag. Like mine said Dolly. Everybody, one of the clues had something to do with Spider-Man. Okay. Now what's Spider-Man's name?
Clark Kent. No,
That's Superman.
Superman.
Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Okay. So there was a guy that was in there, and they asked him what he did for a living. He said he was a blogger, and his name tag said Peter the Great. Okay. So I started putting it together. I was like, okay, one of the clues has something to do with Spider-Man, right? That they were watching this because it was based on a movie. They were shooting a movie. Somebody got a bullet accidentally into a gun, shot the person, right? And you had to figure out why this person did it, right? And so in it, I was thinking, okay, this is the guy, right? Because it was just like certain things the actors did, they made it a point to like pull somebody out the crowd or say something to somebody or something. And I was just watching and I was just thinking, okay, this is the guy. And then me and PJ sat there at the end and we had two suspects because one lady lied to us. She was a young girl. And you, in the middle of dinner, you get up, you walk around and start talking to random people. You know me, I'm a YouTuber. I can talk to fucking anybody, right? So I see this girl because the thing has something to do with this girl that's a hairstylist. So I see this girl with this crazy, she has nice hair, but it's all done real nice, all kind of colors. She looks like a hairstylist, right? So I was thinking, okay, this girl looks like she could have something to do with hair. Let me go talk to her. And I walked up to her and I asked her, I said, hey, what do you do for a living? And she said, I'm a medical examiner in Boston, right? This is what she told me. She said she was a medical examiner, doctor in Boston. She looked pretty young. And I was thinking to myself, this girl's not no fucking medical examiner, right? And then the dude sitting next to her, he had a name tag on it that said Botox. And I asked him what he did. He said, I'm a doctor. I do Botox, right? I do lip injections. He started talking about Botox. He's like, that's why my name's Botox, right? Dr. Botox. So the table was a table full of fucking doctors. Believe it or not, she was a doctor, right? A medical examiner, young girl. So I thought she was lying. I was like, there's no way this girl's a medical examiner. But she ended up, she was a medical examiner. And she's a medical examiner in Boston. I thought that was weird because, the whole Karen Reed thing. But anyway, so I ended up guessing it. Me and PJ ended up guessing it. And we sat there and told the people right at the table beforehand, we were like, we think it's this guy. And then sure enough, of 100 people in there, it was Peter the Great was the killer.
That's pretty wild. So you go to a dinner, there's 100 people there, and they act out a murder.
They act out a murder while you're sitting there eating like you're silent.
There's clues and shit.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's one person in the dinner that's the killer.
yeah. And the weird thing was, right? So the bartender had one eye, right? At first, I thought it was like she was wearing like a fake prosthetic, but then the more I looked, I was like, nah, this chick only got one eye. Like it's completely gone out of her head. It's like a hole. And she's the bartender, and her name tag says innocent bartender. Now, instantly that made me suspicious, right? Like, why would you put innocent bartender and you the bartender for the dinner, right? So, and then she told me, she said, I ain't got nothing to do with it. I just want you to know so you don't mess up your pick. I'm innocent. And I looked at her, I said, well, that's what a guilty person
Yeah.
got nothing to do with it. And she
Just
goes,
to throw you off.
no. And I asked her, because the killing was with a knife. I asked her, I said, you got any knives behind the bar? And she says, no, because of something that happened at the last show. So she was just kind of like joking with me, like playing, you know, but what she was saying was really suspicious. Like, oh, you innocent, your name is innocent bartender. You just said you can't have knives because of something that happened at a previous show. Right. But I don't know.
How many people are in on it at the place?
There's like, what they do is like, they have a few people, and as you get your ticket, you can put, if you want to be a suspect. So not that you did it, but you will be part of the show. So they'll call you up and you'll start saying, oh, well, this is what I do for a living. And you add to it. So if you want to be suspicious acting, you can be kind of suspicious, right? Because people were coming up to me and asking, like, well, when's the last time you told a lie? I was like, today. Right now I'm lying. I'm just, doing shit that seems suspicious. I don't know, but everybody is. So everybody is kind of like a suspect. It was cool. It was good. The food was decent.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah. Me and PJ picked the killer out of 100 people in the room.
Right on.
We were able to nail down the killer to who it was.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah. So
I'm going to jump down, Dolly, so you can take some calls.
All right, man. All right. Peace. All right. So yeah, the mystery dinner stuff, if you've never done it, it was actually pretty fun. I will open the phone lines up for a few minutes. Phone lines are now back open. Call-in number, of course, is on the screen. Yeah, have any of you guys ever been to a murder mystery dinner? So it may have been a little bit more than 100 people. It may have been like 120 people. It was in a ballroom. And all them games of Clue I played as a kid. And PJ was on it. Like, PJ was on it, right? So together, like, we worked good as a team, right? And right off the bat, I was thinking, okay, the doctor girl stands out. And there was another girl dressed like she just left a fucking episode of the movie Green. Dolly.
Hey, I'll turn you down. So, yeah, I for sure think that Kohlberger did it.
Who is this? And where are you calling from?
It is Julia, the real Gemini, no lie,
Okay.
from Missouri.
Okay, the real Gemini.
So
you think Kohlberger did it for sure?
Yeah. Of course, I talk to spirits, so I kind of know things.
Oh, you're a spirit whisperer?
And, yeah. Okay. And, I was begging you to show that boy's picture or whatever from here. They found him.
Was he okay?
In the park. No, he's not good. It was where I said what I thought, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like heat it. This black guy posted, when trying to be an NIGGA goes wrong.
He trying to be a what?
An 8 for the week. An NIGGA. Talking about this little white boy because he was up in the hood.
Oh, okay. Well, we don't say those things right here. We talking about woman?
I didn't say that. I don't care. Anyway, what I'm saying is what he wrote on his post.
Okay.
And I don't know. I tried. I was like, what's that mean? And he's like, the boy was where he wasn't supposed to be, and apparently he called that dude N-words or whatever. But dude has hella black friends and stuff, so he wasn't a racist kid, and he was a kid.
So he was saying inappropriate things. He shouldn't have been saying.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if that's what happened or whatever, or if it happened beforehand or whatever. Dude's just, posting to be ignorant. But I was like, you need to take that down before his mom sees it.
So they
That's
found the
kind of
kid. They found him. Was he
cold-hearted.
alive or alive?
Yeah, in part, he was, like I said, he was passed.
He was what?
Yeah, he passed over.
Oh,
He was
okay.
dead. Yeah,
Okay.
something happened to him. I think he was beat. My vision, it was a black man. And I'm not racist by far. I have plenty of black friends or whatever. I don't know what the whole deal was, but I kind of feel like he was just in the wrong place. Like he was trying to hide. Last day, like the sighting of him, he supposedly topped some lady's fence and was in her yard, and she yelled at him, scared him away. But he said he got hit by a car. Or
Okay,
something.
I'm so lost. Like I know you sent me some stuff, but I've been.
I'm sorry. I sent you the. But yeah, I was talking about Goldberger.
Oh, okay. Now you're talking about Kohlberger. I thought.
No, not now, but I was. That's what I was calling for.
Oh, okay. Well, let's stick to.
I was just telling you don't have to post the dude
Psychic
anymore.
woman. Let's stick to one topic at a time. Okay, one topic. No jumping around.
So when I had hopped in your live or whatever, it was showing like they found some other little boy. What's that about?
That was a young man. He was 38 years old. He's actually friends, family. Like I know his family. And he went missing the other day, and they found him in a lake today, by Starbucks, where I go get my coffee. And we don't know the circumstances. Did he put himself in the lake, or somebody put him in the lake? But we do know he's suffering mental health illness right before this. So either way you look at it, not good.
Was he like intoxicated?
That I don't know. I wasn't with him, so I don't know what happened. I know he went to the hospital. And there's some rumors that the hospital told him he was okay or something. And he was last seen at the hospital, and he was found about 1.5 miles away from the hospital in a lake. Well, a little pond.
Right. I think it was an accident.
Possibly. I'll find out more as the days continue,
Right. Same thing with this boy.
Yeah.
About the same boat.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how so many people end up in the water, but it seems like a lot of these people with mental health illnesses, they go. The last boy that went missing here too, Sebastian, he ended up in the lake, and that little girl ended up in. We've had 4 people end up in the lake in the last month in a lake. I mean,
yeah, a lot of people are go missing with no shoes lately too. It says that like in the stars.
Yeah, that's what I heard about.
What's supposed to happen?
That's what I heard about. Gracelyn Vick today, that she went missing with no shoes. And I was like, what is with the kids going missing with no fucking shoes?
Yeah, we're supposed to expect a lot of that.
But then again, when I was a kid, I did run around barefoot a lot. I'm from Georgia, so I'd run around barefoot.
I run in the tiff, no shoes.
Yeah, so I get it, like why some kids. Now Sebastian Rogers, he was 15. I don't know why he'd be out there with no shoes.
He didn't.
So unless somebody carried him out the house, or if he did run away, it had to be a spur of a moment thing. But it don't sound like that by the way they describe it.
He didn't.
So
he didn't. It was for Chris, because Chris couldn't be around. And, just like I was telling in the beginning, and then little things.
Chris says that's not true though. He said he was never told by social services that he couldn't be around. That's internet stuff.
Yeah.
Because he answered that question. I heard him answer it. He said he was never told that he could not be home because of Sebastian being there.
Yeah, he also said that the case was a long time ago that he spanked him, and then he said,
"I know that's true. That is true." But here's the thing: don't you think if he got up here and lied like that, the police would call bullshit on it? Because they would know. The police would know what the CPS report said, because the police have access to that.
Right.
Just we don't, but the police do, so they would know if he was.
Look what Don and Candace has done. Look what Don and Candace has done, and I got arrested. You know what I'm saying? I got all these alibis. Candace has none.
Seven.
Candace didn't get arrested.
He had 7 alibis. 7.
Yeah, he ain't got no alibi. He ain't got no alibi.
I don't know. I don't think so either. But.
Well, I know. Don did it. I knew before that was even her dad's name.
I don't think Don did it. Listen, I'm a good vibe. You know how you say you psychic? I say
she was sick.
I say I'm more empathic than psychic, right? I think I'm a little bit both, right?
Okay.
But I sat with Don and Candace, and I did not get the killer vibe from Dawn.
No, it
I
wasn't like
didn't.
that. But she was sick. She was sick, and her body held a
Oh,
secret.
I
And
believe they.
and look,
I
the
do
reason why.
believe they covered it up, but I'm saying when I sat with them, I didn't get killer vibes from them. Like,
Well, it wasn't that they killed her.
now
It was just
Candace
that,
was looking at me when we
well,
first
he was
met,
sicko. He was sicko.
like she wanted to kill me.
He was a sicko. He was a sicko, and he did things, and he didn't want Candace to take her to the hospital because of it, because her body held a secret. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe.
And that day, the original plan was to go to the hospital because she was sick. That's why they went to the water to try to calm her fever down. That's why she was so cold.
I don't know
promise
about
you.
that. I don't know. I don't know
Well, Spirit says she had like sepsis and she was sick, real bad sick. And they had to hide her body. They were getting ready to get the boys took away. It was like they didn't want to, they couldn't just, oh, well, we let this kid die, or let their daughter
the
die.
social service
automatically.
See,
lose the
Don
boys.
didn't have no problem saying why the social services were called. The social services were called
before that, though,
on Don and Candace because of they were shooting BB guns off the roof of the house.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Summer,
There was already talk about
Summer,
Summer had to have her own room. Something was going on. You know,
he was
that?
letting Summer
Summer
onto the roof of the house, shooting BB guns.
No,
okay,
okay. This is what I'm trying to tell you. This is what I'm trying to tell you about before that. They already had CBS case. It had been open for a long time. Like probably as soon as she popped out her first one, they were on them. And supposedly, Summer. That's why Summer's room had to be moved down to the basement and couldn't be with the boys no more. And I think they're putting up on the boys. Just like if you were listening.
There's only 2 people that could have called the social services on them.
Well, that Marlena is coming out again, saying all this stuff about the oldest boy was calling her daughter girlfriend and stuff. I think they're putting it off on the boys, trying to say like the boys was doing it. But Marlena, something happened to Journey too.
Okay.
All right, I just say that name. I should have said that.
All right,
but,
like it, lady.
Yeah.
I appreciate you calling in. You be good.
Well, I'm just telling you, here it says Summer's hidden somewhere off that circle driveway. That was even before I even seen her house.
All right.
So,
all right.
Anyway, blessed be you.
All right, peace.
Love y'all. Later.
Okay. Well, here's where I disagree with the psychic. Summer Wells is not on that property. Okay. If she is, she's buried deep. When I went there, all right, and I got a lot of shit for this. Y'all remember Molly and Betty, and they were saying I was blowing Don Wells and all kinds of stuff, right? But I just knew I couldn't get on that property being on their team. All right, I just couldn't. Hold on, let me explain this real quick because I think this is an important one. I knew I couldn't get up there with them as my allies, but if I got away from them, I thought, hey, maybe maybe they'll talk to me. And I was right. They didn't have no problem to talk to me. They were a little mad at me at first, of course, because I always said what I've said about them, that I think they may have covered something up. So when I started talking to them, they were sober. There's a judge, not been drinking. It was early in the morning. So I met them early in the morning, around 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and we sat down and ate some food. Candace looked like she wanted to attack me. Okay. No lie. Just mean mugging, like mad. Don in person, believe it or not, he's a big badass on YouTube when he's drinking. But in person, he's a little more timid. He's soft spoken. He's more timid. And Candace looks like the mean one out of the two. To be honest with you, Candace looked like she would attack me before Don Wells would. But I'm a goofball. All right. And over time, I think, I started to break Candace down a little bit. And you could see her anger for me slowly changing. Right. Just a little bit at a time. Every little stupid thing I would say or something kind of silly, it was breaking her down a little bit. And she was like, so eventually, they invited us back to the house. And a lot of people think that Don and Candace had restrictions on what I could do when I was there or nothing. They didn't. They didn't care. They didn't care where I looked, where I went. They were willing to go check out whatever you want, And a lot of people are like, the barns and shit. They were all open, right? I looked in all of it. I walked around the whole shit. I looked under the house. I mean, I went into the dungeon. I mean, everything that you could humanly do there, I done. I do not believe for a minute that Summer Wells is on that hill. I don't. Is she on that property? Now you got to remember that property is 11 acres. It's big. There's a couple wells. There's things on that property. Could she be on the property? Absolutely, she could be on the property. Is she on the property? I don't think she is. Okay. And I'll tell you reasons why, because of rumors and things that are said. Now, there's still things in this case that I cannot tell you guys. There's people I've spoke with that I can't tell you I spoke with. There's things that may be coming up that I can't tell you about. Okay. But I haven't given up on Summer Wells. Right. Do I think that Don and Candace are killers? And I'm going to tell you, this is my honest truth. I don't think they are. Honest. You know, listen, I figured out the damn detective dinner. You know what I'm saying? I'm just letting you know. Are they responsible in any way for this? What's going on? I do believe they have a hand in what is going on. Am I positive for that? 100% positive? No. Okay. That's why I don't blame them for being killers or anything like that. I believe that Don and Candace are dysfunctional as shit, but they love each other. Okay. Weird as that sounds, drunk, drugs, they're ride or die. They may kill each other, right? But they love each other. All right. You know how you get anybody got them friends out there that fight all the fucking time, and then but if you try to interfere in their fight, they turn it on you, right? They're gonna die fighting, right? It's like my sister and her husband. They fucking argue like everything that comes out their mouth seems like they're fighting. They love each other to death, right? They can fight with each other, but you can't fight with them, right? Like sometimes people think me and PJ are arguing, and I'm like, that's just the way we talk. We get into what we talk about. We argue about it and shit, but we're not mad at each other, you know? So I believe Candace and Donna like that. They're dysfunctional as shit. Okay, don't get me wrong. They are dysfunctional. But did they purposely kill their child? No, not at all. I've been around cold-blooded ass killers, right? Sat right with them, talking to them. Look at Leilani. Cold-blooded as shit, right? And you sit around with somebody like Candace. Candace is an emotional person. I've seen Candace cry. I've seen Candace laugh. I've seen Candace be happy. I've seen Candace tell jokes. You know, I don't see the cold darkness in Candace. Is she sad about something? Yes. Is she sad about covering up the death of her child? Maybe. Is she sad about her child being gone? Maybe. It's hard to tell. Is she sad about something, though? There's something internally eating her. Okay. Now, for me, it's hard to tell. I assume it's she knows, and that's why they're like, Summer's not with us. He's in heaven, and because they know, right? If you know, you know, and so I just wanted to share that these people, I don't know what happened that made them do what they did, but they're not as bad as people think they are. Okay, they're not the boogeyman that you see on the internet. When you're sitting there with them in person, there's things about them that are likable. Okay, it ain't all bad. And if you just seen them on the internet, like I did in the beginning, you would probably think they were super horrible people. Now, let me listen. I don't agree with none of the stuff Don and his sister and the underwear incident. I don't, sicko, nasty, right? But at some point when I was there, though, I didn't know about the stealing the underwear thing. I did know about the, alleged stuff with his sister, and then they came out, and you got to remember Chris McDonough kept swearing he can go to jail, and I was like, Chris McDonough don't know what he's talking about, right? Do you see any of them in jail, right? Just like everybody's saying Chris and Katie going to jail. I don't think that's happening, okay? I hate to be the bearer of bad news because I know so many people suspect these people, right? Just because you suspect somebody, don't make them people guilty, right? Like I have my suspicions about Chris and Katie too, but I couldn't convict them on suspicious, right? You're suspicious. Let me put you in prison. There's a lot of people that are suspicious that they've never committed a crime. Like I said, I went to a dinner thing and everybody in that bitch seemed suspicious, right? Could I prosecute all them people in the dinner date? No, only one person was the killer. Okay. So I pray that something is discussed, because I figure it like this. Usually you find out who did it and then you find the person. Okay. But I think in both of these cases, Summer Wells and Sebastian Rogers, it's going to be opposite of that. When we find them, it's going to give us information that leads us to what happened to them. That's what I'm praying for anyway. That is, just say a hunter or a trip hiker or somebody on a horse, they go, oh, and you remember I was supposed to dress up like a cowboy and go horseback riding? That got canceled. Okay. We wasn't feeling good. We got up late and we ended up rescheduling the horseback riding. Okay. I still got all my cowboy shit. But, you know, you got to remember I was just diagnosed with the 19 and I probably should be relaxing for a little bit, another few days, and I should be 100% back to 100. So we ended up canceling that. But I just want to throw that out there. Now I'll open the phone lines back up for a few minutes. But just because somebody seems suspicious don't mean they did it. Just because you think Chris and Katie's suspicious don't mean they murdered Sebastian. What if something happened to him? What if he got, what if he fell and covered it up? So there's still all those things that you got to take into consideration. Dolly. Yeah.
Dolly.
What up, Doug? What are you doing up so late, man?
Cold. Man, I stay up all the time.
You do?
Man.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm retired.
Okay. So am I.
Yeah, I can do what I want to do.
I hear that.
I have fun.
I hear that.
Hey, Kohlberger's
damn. Why do you always go against the grain on everything there, Doug? Whatever it is, whatever happened, you think the opposite of.
He is not that good.
I know he ain't that good. That's why he's in jail, because he ain't that good.
He's not good enough to take out 4 people in that amount of time. He is not no ninja.
I can tell you now, little old me could take everybody in the house out without even waking you up.
But the one girl fought.
I know.
The one girl.
So did Ethan.
Fought.
I believe he put up a fight too. Yeah.
Right. So they had to be more than one person.
Maybe.
And them girls knew what was going on.
I believe the girls knew what they were going on, but they wasn't 100% positive, or they wasn't cool. You know, they wasn't going to go check.
I believe they have cleaned up.
It's possible. I ain't saying it's impossible.
The only thing Brian Kohlberger got that he done wrong was drop the people off.
I don't know. I mean, you got to remember in the beginning, they showed all them college kids running down the street right there too. You had a group of people, but Dylan didn't report seeing a group of people. She only reported seeing one, unless she had something to do with it. But then if she had something to do with it, how did Brian's touch DNA get on a knife sheath inside the house that he bought from Amazon?
Because he dropped them people off and he gave them a hand fist bump.
Yeah, but if fist bumping some people ain't going to put your DNA on a knife sheath, how did they get his knife sheath?
Why would it's touch DNA? He shook hands and fist bump with them people, and his DNA was on their hands.
And he's saying he touched them, put DNA on their hands, and then they touched something and left his DNA from him touching them.
And that's how touch DNA got there.
I don't know. Have you ever been to a murder mystery dinner, Doug? You should check it out.
Nope.
You probably have fun. You retired. You got number time. You ain't you. I can tell you now, you ain't picking the killer. You definitely ain't gonna pick the killer. Not with your skills. Not with your skills.
But I mean, that's just the way I feel about it.
I mean, I get it. I mean, I ain't saying what you're saying is impossible. I'm just saying I don't think that happened. Me, myself, my personal opinion. Now, there might be people in the chat that agree with you, but I don't.
I mean, he would have done it.
He can't moonwalk. There's no way that somebody walked out of that house and not leave no trail.
Okay, then how did they get back in his car and leave? Where's the DNA in his car? I mean, if a group of people did it, don't you think there'd be more transfer of DNA and more blood and more chances of effing it up?
He did not go in the house. He dropped them people off and was supposed to.
So he
pick
dropped
them up
somebody else off
when
with
all
bushy
the-
eyebrows. How many fucking bushy eyebrow people are running around Idaho?
her boyfriend, that one girl's
Yeah,
boyfriend.
bushy eyebrows too. Is it like the bushy eyebrow crew? Is it just like the big trending thing there? Is have bushy ass eyebrows?
And that girl took the money supposed to go for the other stuff. And I didn't believe it was over.
I mean, I can believe something has to do with drugs. Money and drugs is the root of all evil, but I think he's a serial killer.
But Koberger was supposed to haul in people out of there.
Uh-huh.
When he heard all that damn noise and that screaming and that hollering going on, he got in his car and hauled ass.
Okay.
And left that place.
All right. Oh, I don't know about that one, but
and that's why when he asked, did anybody else get
my
arrested?
thing is this. I think he must have been wearing a tie-back suit, and when he stepped out that door, he rolled that bitch inside out, put it in a plastic baggie, and dropped it in the trunk of his car with the weapon. I think he sealed everything into an evidence bag before he even got in the car. Because I think when he stepped out that back door, he instantly unzipped, peeled that off. Because I used to work in hazardous material. It's like when you come through a containment, the first part of the containment is an undress room. The second part is a shower. The third part is put your clothes on, right? That's how a containment works in any hazardous material. So, but I believe you take away the containment, he still walked outside, he undressed, he bagged his clothes, just like I would have done if I worked in hazardous materials, right? And then you continue on your path. So I believe whatever he did when he rolled the suit up inside out. Because if he would have rolled it up any other way, there would have been transferable DNA on it. Because blood had to have splattered. Blood had to. There's no way you're stabbing that many people and blood ain't on you. There's just no way. So I believe he rolled it inside out.
And it's going to be on his face, in his eyes, and everywhere.
Yeah, but long as he don't have it physically where he would sit, it wouldn't transfer. If he don't have it on his hands because he was wearing gloves and he gloved the gloves off and dropped them all in a bag, sealed it up, even in a containment. Okay, so when we take out hazardous materials, when I worked in the hazardous material field, what we would do is we would bag it, right? We would bag it, we'd fold the bag, tape it, drop it into another bag, okay? Spin that bag, tape that bag, fold it up, tape it again. So now it's been double bagged. There's 2 layers of protection between and then we take it through the containment and we take it into the shower, wash the bags, okay? And then they come through the clean room. Nothing ever leaves dirty. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, anybody that's probably into forensics or things like that wear suits and gloves and, transferable things like, I don't know. I think that's what he done, though. Something of that nature is the reason there's no trail of blood. There's the reason there's no fibers or anything in the cars because he bagged it behind that house. And then he walked to the car with it in a bag.
But there's blood that was there, dude. It was in his face, all over his body. Even if he had a suit on, some blood got somewhere.
Willow said, I've been in some double bag situations, but she was still a sweet person. Okay.
But I just can't
Total
believe
double
it.
bagger.
Not by himself.
Just remember, never put a plastic bag over their head because that'll suffocate them. Okay. If you got to bag them, just no plastic. Use paper. All right. It's breathable.
Like I say, it's going to come out. He didn't do it, but he was.
Okay, Doug. You be good, man. You golfing tomorrow? Right. What you doing?
Tomorrow, yard mow
Oh,
day.
I hear you. I just cut my grass. All right. You be good.
I got 4 acres.
Oh, I ain't got that much, but I just got my riding lawnmower back working, so it ain't that bad. But you be good. Stay safe, brother. All right, peace. Yeah, so I mean he's familiar with crime scenes, right? Because he's a criminology student. I don't know how we got all stuck on Idaho 4, but he's definitely a criminology student. He knows about contaminating crime scenes. I'm sure that's stuff he studied, and I'm sure he wore some type of tie-back suit, right? Because he said he was dressed in black. Dolly. Yes.
Dolly. It's Tina out
Hey,
of
Tina.
Kentucky. Hey, you
Yeah,
doing
I'm
okay?
all right.
Feeling
Yeah, I'm
better?
feeling a lot better. I mean, I'm not 100 yet. I'm still a little sluggish, but far as like
Yeah.
running fevers and headache, all that stuff's pretty much gone.
Well, that's a good thing. Just main thing, keep that fever
Yeah, I get
down.
it.
Keep plenty of fluid.
I've been doing okay. Not too bad.
Yeah, and keep that Tylenol down here. I found out 4 weeks ago that I have the long timers.
The what cameras?
The long timers from that COVID.
Oh, so that it hung over, stayed with you.
Yeah, it's staying with me. I mean, I have the aches and the pains, the cough. Cough isn't bad like it was. I don't carry no temperature. I can't spread it. It's just I'm keeping all the symptoms.
Oh, okay. Well, I hope you feel better. You know.
Well, it's been going on 6 months since I've had it.
I usually don't get sick. I was pretty surprised to get sick this time. I was like, damn, PJ, whatever you got must have been strong because I usually don't get sick. And it got me. It got me. But it didn't, like I don't stay down long. I think my immune system's pretty good. I'm not, I mean, I ain't too old. I'm old, but I ain't like super old. My body fights it pretty good. I knew once I woke up sweaty and I broke the fever, I knew I'd be okay. I was like, okay, I'm on the uptick now. And
when you wake up fever,
every day I do a little better.
But I got that RA, that rheumatoid arthritis, and I got to take injections each week. Yeah. And that makes my immune system
I ain't far
down.
from it because my joints be killing me. But a lot of the medicines I take for the heart condition, a lot of that has joint pain as one of the side effects of some of the medicines I take. And so my hip be hurting like an old man. I'm gonna be on. I said something to PJ today. I was like, when I gotta be in a wheelchair, can I get some 20-inch rims on my wheelchair? Some Cadillac, some Cadillac rims. She was like, yeah. I was like, good, because I'm fucking falling apart over here. My whole hip hurts like an old man. I'm like, I went to get up, and I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna be one of them old ass people with a fake hip.
Well, I got both my knees redone, and I'm supposed to have my left hip redone. But now my doctor is not in my medical, what do you call it? Where my doctor don't take my insurance no more.
I got you. So you got to find a new doctor.
But they was getting ready to schedule me, and my sister had to have her leg amputated.
Oh.
And so I wouldn't do it then. She had cancer. And so I stayed at the hospital with her for 3 weeks. I just lived at the hospital, taking care of her. And so I called the surgery off, and now my doctor don't take my insurance. So
okay, well, good luck with finding a doctor that'll take your stuff. That's important. I've ran into situations like that.
Yeah. But I wanted to say something about this Idaho 4. And I know you'll remember this. Back when all this very first broke, one of Brian's sisters is
Yeah,
psychiatrist.
yeah, exactly.
And she went to her dad and told her dad, I think this is Brian.
Now, I don't know if that's true, but I would think they would know.
Yeah, she went to her dad and said, I think this is my brother.
Allegedly.
Yeah, right, allegedly. So I want all these trials to come on start up.
They're coming. It's working its way here. I mean, it takes a while. I'm an impatient person, so I'm ready for it to pop off.
I want the Karen Reed.
They keep rescheduling the Karen Reed stuff, man. They're driving me crazy with this. PJ's been taking off work for this Karen Reed stuff and switching the dates and switching the dates and switching the dates. She looks at me today and says, they're talking about pushing it back 5 weeks. I might not be able to do the Karen Reed trial. And I'm thinking, I mean, I'll be able to do it, but I wanted PJ to go with me. PJ's the one that got me into the Karen Reed trial. And it looks like.
Yeah, because last time you went yourself.
Yeah, I went by myself. All 3 times I went by myself. So this would have been the first time PJ went there with me. And it just looks like they keep changing the schedule on her. And it don't look like she's going to be able to do it. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's just, I don't know what they got going on. They're pushing dates back. They're moving things around. It's like they picked a jury, but they ain't ready for trial. It's like, I don't know. But I'm going to be in Idaho. I'm going to be in Mass. I'm going to be in Florida for Stephen Stearns. So I'm going to be getting around this year. That's for sure.
You know, why don't they trial Stephen together on those 2 charges?
Huh? Say it one more time.
Why don't they trial Maddie Soto's killer at the same time?
Why didn't they charge him at the same time? That I don't know. I mean, the charges were brought up at different times. So maybe it has something to do with that. He was already scheduled for the court date. And then I don't know why they're not charging them together, to be dead honest with you. But they're not. He's got 2 separate trials. One trial is for the child P. And the second trial is a capital trial, which carries the death penalty. And it's for the murder of Maddie Soto.
Yeah.
I'm going to be there for the murder stuff. I want to see him get the death penalty. I want to be there when he gets it. I want to be able to look.
Yeah, I would want to be there for the peace stuff.
Yeah, so I'm going to be in and out because the one bad thing about this is when Stephen Stearns goes on trial, he's on trial at right around the same time as CrimeCon, and I had planned on flying out to Denver for CrimeCon, and I put in it, but CrimeCon don't like me. They think Dolly's too controversial, so I was trying to take part in CrimeCon, but that don't look like that's going to happen, because.
They rejected me
again for the second year in a row. Hell no to Dolly.
That's somebody saying some kind of shit.
Yeah, they don't like what I do. I'm controversial, I guess, but they got all these other controversial people. I don't get it. It's my face. Would you let this face in the CrimeCon?
Why, hell yeah, you tell the truth.
All right, well, look. All right, well, look, I appreciate you calling in. It was good talking to you.
Well, just take care of yourself. But, yeah, look that up on Brian's sister. She's a psychiatrist. And she's the one who told her dad, okay. I believe this is my brother.
All right, I'll check it out. You be good. Stay sweet. Peace.
Okay, you take care of yourself.
Yeah, I knew she was a psychiatrist. Now the other stuff may be a little bit more just rumored internet speculation. We don't know for sure that they knew he would. I think they did. Why did his dad fly out there to drive back with him? He's a grown ass man. He could have drove back by himself. I drive around the country all the damn time. Yeah, and like I said, I don't know why they're not charging him at the same time. But yeah, like we try to take part in CrimeCon, they're just like, hell no, your face. Look at your face, Dolly. We can't have you at our event, okay? You may scare people. I I don't know, right? I was there last year. All it really does is save me money because now I ain't got to buy a table. Okay. But promote myself, of course, I'm going to be there, right? But far as them you saying we're too controversial, what the hell is controversial in true crime? Right? All the people there, like even looking, not to talk bad about my 10 to life, she accuses people of shit, right? And this is a funny comment. The only winner in the Karen Reed case is Turtle Boy's boyfriend, Gap. He came out on top, didn't he? He came out on top on that one. Listen, he was drowning, Willow. His ship was sinking fucking bad. He just grabbed a big life raft, right? He happened, lucked out. He was out there flopping around in the water, and he just grabbed on the Turtle Boy's nuts, and it saved his channel, right? If not, that shit was tanking like, right? So he needed that. Congratulations to him. I don't hate on people, right? Like, however you get your success, but you got to watch calling people names when you supporting a cop killer, right? Like that usually ain't what Dolly does. I back the man in blue. I'm not one of those defund the police kind of people. And me, I've been fucking body slammed on my head by the police, shit talk, been locked up. And I still say, hey, if somebody broke in my house right now, who am I going to call? The fucking police, right? Same thing with all them Karen Reed people that are like, the police are corrupt. I guarantee you I go up to Boston and steal some of their shit, they calling the police, okay? I guarantee you that, right? I guarantee you the first person I slap, they calling the police on me, the same corrupt cops, right? That's who they're going to call. So that shit's funny to me, to see people, F the police, and then somebody steals their bicycle, and the first person they call is the police. Or you slap the shit out of one of them, they call the police, right? Like, it don't make good sense to me. And I don't know if you've seen when Gap came up here, he was fucking belligerent drunk, right? I mean, just drunk, like beyond drunk. I mean, back over you at 24 miles an hour in reverse Karen Reed drunk, and he just got destroyed, right? I don't hate the guy, right? I understand that he's trying to survive on YouTube and he's doing whatever he has to do to make it. I mean, I can't hate it. I don't support that type of stuff. I believe be real. Just be real. Like you think, like I told him when he got up here, I was like, dude, do you think we actually believe you care about police brutality? You live in Carolina, right? Not Carolina, but Tennessee. What have you done for police brutality in Tennessee? Have you ever did anything for it? Have you ever been fighting for justice in your own hometown? You're not, but you're wearing a Boston cap. Your ass ain't from Boston, okay? And you're fighting for justice in a town you ain't even from. Right? Don't you think you should start at home? Right? Don't you think you should start where you fight for justice from where you at before you start fighting for a whole nother community that you ain't from there? But listen, people know when you're real and when you ain't. If you fake, you're gonna show it, right? You're gonna show your hand. You can't be fake forever. And we watch him crash and burn all the time. Like it's just a matter of time, right? I figured him and Turtle Boy would have done turned on each other by now in the Karen Reed case, right? Usually you can't have two people. I don't know. I guess if they're both making money, they could probably put up with each other, But me, like, I gotta say how I feel. I think it's more important than the money. Like if you wanted to go after money, of course you go free Karen Reed, right? That's what I told T-Rev. All you gotta do is go sit on Baby Gap Flap, start screaming free Karen Reed, right? Your ass wouldn't be door dashing, right? And he knew that. He knew that. So Baby Gap ain't stupid. I mean, he ain't smart. Okay, let me tell you, he ain't smart, but he's not a stupid person. He knew that this right here could keep him afloat. All right. And so he ran with it. To me, I cannot sell my morals and values for a few bucks. Now it depends how much money it is, right? How much is it, right? Because I know he ain't really making that much. But now let's just say he was making, in the double digits. Then I can see maybe free Karen Reed, right? Free Karen Reed. Hey, I ain't screaming free Karen Reed for a few pesos. Okay, I just ain't doing that, right? So, but yeah, I mean, you're right though. He did win in that. And what is winning to him though? His view of winning is, in my view of winning, it depends where you set the bar. You know what I'm saying? If a couple G's is winning, then yeah, he's winning. If the bar is a little bit high, I like to keep my bar a little high, right? That I can't reach. That's why I never feel like I'm winning, right? Because I set my bar so high, right? Like I need challenge. And I think if you set your bar really low, then you could go, yeah, he's winning because, he went from nobody watching him to, a couple thousand people watching him a night at a time, live. So that's winning to him. And he's making super chats and he's making some money. And look, I don't hate on people for making money. I just hate on people when they're not real. Right? I want to see everybody succeed. I want to see everybody make a buck, everybody eat. Dolly ain't the only person got to eat. Everybody got to eat, right? So I understand that, right? But when you fake it like you real and you really give a damn and you don't care at all, like, and it's not only that, it's just when you shit talk other people and you are worse than the people you're talking about, right? If you're going to say something about somebody, make sure your ass don't stink as bad as theirs, because everybody's ass stinks. Just make sure your ass don't stink as bad as their ass before you go say something about them. So that's the answer to that one. He got a good size following these days. It's because of Karen Reed. But what does he do next? Remember, because he failed in true crime. He tried to talk about all the same things we talked about in the beginning, and he completely failed at that. And like some of the things he did or didn't do. Okay. That's my biggest problem with him is like, look, dude, you live in Tennessee where all these kids are missing. You ain't went out and put out one flyer for one fucking missing kid ever. And then you talk about people making money off missing kids while you talk about us talking about missing kids. So technically, you're talking about the same thing we are. Okay. If he could make money talking about Summer Wells, he'd be talking about Summer Wells right now. Just nobody wants to hear him say shit about Summer Wells. Nobody gives a fuck what he says in true crime because he ain't good at it, right? He just ain't good at it. So nobody takes him serious in true crime. Karen Reed is really not true crime. That's more of police corruption. Okay. It ain't really true crime. I guess it's true crime in a little aspect scenario of it, but nobody really gave a damn about what he did in true crime. I think some people are cool with you talking the talk, but some people want to see you walk the walk too. His channel is solely dependent on this misinformation of others. QB and Wonder Bread wasn't working for him. Yeah, I mean, you got to remember, he had no content. He was basically, I want to be burnt toast at one point, right? Wonder Bread, burnt toast, whoever you call it. Yeah, right. So that was his thing, and that's what, I don't know. He lucked into the Turtle Boy took him under his wing. Okay. And I'm surprised Turtle Boy was willing to share revenue with him. Turtle Boy must be doing good. Okay. He must be doing real fucking good. And I was surprised. I was surprised by that because usually people with egos like that, they usually clash. But nah, they're like a marriage made in heaven. They dry humping each other on the news. I mean, that's pretty close, right? That's pretty close. And I don't really think of Baby Gap as a terribly bad person. He ain't my favorite person. Turtle Boy is a shit bag. Okay. And I mean a whole bag of flaming shit like you light on fire and leave on somebody's porch. He is horrible. Baby Gap, I don't like him. He's old follow the leader type, right? But Turtle Boy is a dirt bag. Like there ain't many people that I think are just like grifter ain't even the word for him. Like he's beyond that. He's like, I don't know, like exploiting, like this horrible, like bad, like like there's a special place in hell for you, bro. Right? Like you are that bad. Like you, if a piece of shit took a shit, you would be that piece of shit. Total Gang hang at the pleasure on mine. Hope you having a fabulous weekend. Yes, people riding on the back of Sebastian and drama and grifting, no content. I don't have a problem with people talking about missing kids whatsoever, because I think it's a double-edged sword. It brings awareness, right? And people see it all over the place. So the more people that talk about it, the better. What I don't like in missing kid cases is when people are purposely spreading misinformation. And the key word here is purposely. Okay. People hear things and rumors and they tell it. I don't count that quite as spreading misinformation, especially if you let people know, hey, this is my opinion or this is what I heard. I don't have no way of fact checking this. It's when people come up here and tell you something like they're presenting it as a fact and they know damn good and well that they're lying. Oh, well, my people on the inside told me this, or my sources. Right, bitch, what are you, Vanity Fair? What source? What are you, Time Magazine? What sources you got? You a fucking YouTuber, okay? Your homeboy down the street, T-Rev, told you. That's when I have a problem with it, okay? And that's when I start talking shit. Then is when you got 57 sources, you got more sources than the New York Times, okay? And you just some fucking my sources inside the police department. Like, bitch, the only time you've been in the police department is when you in handcuffs, okay? Like, what kind of shit is that? But people on the internet eat that stuff up. They eat it up. They love it. Oh, his sources, look, it's got to be this way. It has to be. And to me, listen, I've seen every kind of con fucking man you can be, okay? I used to read Jim Rose books and
love your
and
face.
all kinds of stuff. See, you ain't pulling some of that slick shit on me and act like I don't know. I mean, it may work on some people up here on the YouTube streets that believe everything they hear. I don't believe nothing I hear. Nothing. And I encourage you guys not to believe nothing you hear either. Don't believe none of that shit. You know, they used to say, don't believe nothing you hear and only half of what you see. I'm telling you, don't believe what you hear and don't believe what you see. There's fucking AI, there's editing, all the shit's fake now. Don't believe nothing. I don't care if Bigfoot bites me in the face right now and just mauls me like a grizzly bear. Don't believe it. Okay, that's just good TV editing. Moon landing. Look, they've been lying to us for years, right? You want to believe that shit? Red Hot Chili Pepper said it was shot in a studio basement. I believe Anthony Kiedis every time, right? Don't believe shit. Don't believe none of it. Everybody's lying to you. You're lying to yourself, right? You're lying to yourself. Don't believe it. Don't believe it. All right. And that's the difference between me and you. I will tell you, don't believe none of this shit. This is all smoke and mirrors. Don't trust a YouTuber. Never. Okay. Trust a homeless person on the street before you trust a YouTuber. Pick up a hitchhiker first. Okay. That's all I'm saying. And then you're going to be like it in. The only one that was real with us, Dolly told us. He told us, don't trust none of these motherfuckers, right? So, Hiltz is a trash bag. Okay. My image is a real bear on my lawn. Don't believe it. Okay. It's AI. It's AI. Just ask me. I'll generally tell you the truth. AI has changed the game here. Funny, I said a similar thing a few weeks back. Don't even take my word for it. Check up on me too. There you go, right? Like so many people just believe it, especially when a couple people say it. And you got to remember these people on YouTube, they click up, right? They get all buddy and rubbing elbows and shit, sharing subscribers. And then they'll say it. Then that channel say it. Then their other channel say it. and then you got 4 or 5 people saying it, so it must be true. That don't make it true. It just makes a bunch of fucking idiots saying the same thing, right? To me. And then what gets me is all these people act so legit. Well, I Dolly tell you, I'm a fucking idiot. Right? Straight up idiot. When you try to deny you an idiot, right? That's when I know something's fucked up with you, right? That's when I know you not only you're an idiot, but you a lying ass idiot. And that's the worst type of idiot. I can deal with a good idiot, right? But when you a lying ass motherfucking idiot, it's a little bit different then, right? Because usually, like, even when I was at the true crime dinner, I would ask people, when's the last time you lied? Oh, I don't lie. Well, there's your first fucking lie right there. Yep, liar. Wrote it right on the sheet. Right? I wish I had the sheet so I can show y'all. Everybody told me they didn't lie. I wrote down their name and put liar beside it. Everybody lies. You may lie a little white lie to cover up something, you know, but you're going to lie. You're going to fib a little bit. Maybe it's to the kids. Maybe it's Santa Claus is coming. But you're going to tell a lie. Easter Bunny, you know, Tooth Fairy. You're going to lie. It just is what it. Nobody's perfect. If you was, your name be Jesus. Okay, you be God. Everybody falls short of the grace of God, right? So that's the best question I can ask you. Are you a liar? No. Yeah, you are. Okay. Yeah, you are. Like when they were asking me at the truth, do you ever lied? Yeah, hell yeah, I lied. I'm lying to you right now. Okay. So no, baby, I love your mama's green bean casserole. There you go, right? How does this outfit look on me? Oh, it looks great. And you know, you look like a fucking Oompa Loompa, right? It just happens. Your outfit be looking like this Buddha I got right here. Look, y'all seen this? Look, check it out. It's a Buddha, but it's also Art the Clown as a Buddha. Okay. And if you ain't never seen Art the Clown, this is one of the most goriest killer movies in the history of gore. I mean, he be ripping out guts and it's just over bloody, right? Like for whatever reason they can spray blood. It's Art the Clown, right? So I've been on this big Art the Clown kick lately. And you know, because I got a life-size Art the Clown in my living room, and I've just been collecting a lot of stuff. I'm gonna get to meet him in July. He's gonna be at the comic book stuff. So I'm gonna take some of my Art the Clown stuff to get him signed. But this is my newest piece, right? Which is a Buddha that is Art the Clown. Okay. So you can rub his belly for good luck, I guess, if you really need to. So the horror movie gods don't get you. So, but yeah, you don't care what anybody thinks you're retired. Yeah. I mean, I usually don't care what people think, you know, when I go places. I just go with whatever the hell I feel like wearing. But sometimes I'll dress nice, and you know, it depends what I'm doing. Creepy AF, LOL. It ain't that creepy, right? I mean, like I said, I tell people all the time, like when they brought my refrigerator in, they were like, man, how do you sleep in this house? Right? Because I got all the horror movies. I got Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, damn life-size Art the Clown and shit, right? And the dudes were like, these are older black guys though, you know, they probably ain't the biggest horror movie fans in the world. And they were like, dude, how do you sleep in here? And I was thinking, technically, I sleep in the back in my bedroom, and this is my living room, right? Because they were in my living room kitchen area. Like, I don't sleep out here much, but, you know, I could. I slept on the couch many a night, right? The only thing that gets me sometimes, and I got a lot of stuff, right? And I have a life-size Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He's 6'5", and he sits, when you walk out this door, he sits at the end of the hall, right? And so I got to go out this door to go to like the bathroom or the bedroom leads to the same hall. So when I get into my hall, sometimes I'll be waking up in the middle of the night and I'm not quite awake, you know, where you're that half awake, half asleep, piss on the floor kind of wake up, you know what I'm saying? And it'll startle me sometimes, right? Like I'll break the corner and be like, you know, like if somebody jumped out at you. Right. So sometimes it gets me. It even gets me. Right. because I don't know, when that sleep state, I kind of forget that it's there. And then I always think it's somebody in my house, right? Because he's right there when you break the hallway with a chainsaw, right? 6'5", life size, big, huge as shit, right? So sometimes that gets me. Like for a second, then it kicks in that it's Leatherface and he ain't gonna kill me, right? But if, like, let's just say you broke in my house in the middle of the night and you ain't never been in here, and you climb through the window, you look up and there's a 6'5" dude standing there with a chainsaw, you gonna climb your ass back out that window, okay? But by then my cameras would have done got you, my phone goes off, things like that. But if you do make it past the security system, you still got to get past Freddy Krueger, yeah, with his claws sticking out, right? Sometimes PJ will be laying on the couch and it looks like the poster from the Freddy movie, the poster where the girl's laying on the bed and the claws are kind of over her head. It's kind of like that. And then on the other side of the couch, that's where the big life-size Texas Chainsaw Massacre is. I got a life-size alien that sits right here beside me to the left. He's green though, so y'all can't see him because I got the green screen on. But he sits right over here to my left. He's from Mars Attacks, and he got some big ass fucking alien head like this big. One day I'll show you guys all my. Sometimes I'll do little videos where I show all my collections of just horror movie stuff, and it's been growing. It's been growing a lot over the last year. Good Lord, sounds like a nightmare. I mean, listen, here's my thing is movies don't scare me. Like I watch brutal movies, like gore movies, like blood, guts, everything, right? Like cringe type stuff. That don't faze me. I'm more worried about the dude that looks normal, okay? Or tries to act like they're normal. Them people scare me, right? When your ass walks up with a Bible, oh, I'm scared. I'm like, oh my God, this is the fucking devil coming up here, right? Real people scare me. These characters from movies, they don't scare me. Not a bit, right? Don't faze me. I look at every horror movie thing you can look at, like it's nothing. I can sit here and watch horror movies all night long by myself, in the dark, and it don't faze me. Killers, like when I watch documentaries on like BTK, Ted Bundy, Hillside Strangler, Zodiac Killer, or serial killers that haven't been caught, that scares me. Okay, because I'm thinking, are they in the woods? You know what I'm saying? Are they outside my bush? Is JR out there with them? You know what I'm saying? Them people scare me. So real life stuff scares me. And movies about demonic possession, I don't like that stuff. Okay, like people that are possessed by the devil, because I believe that's real. I believe some of these people are possessed by the devil. If you believe in good, you have to believe in evil. It's just one of those things. You can't believe in good without believing in evil. And I believe evil is just as real as good. So when I see stuff like this, and I don't like watching movies of people being possessed by the devil or people hearing voices or shit like that. Them type of movies kind of scare me a little bit. Slasher films like Chucky, Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, Jeepers Creepers, what other slashers are there? Art the Clown, The Butcher, things like that. They don't scare me because they're just based on slasher films. You broke down, your car broke down, and you're in the woods, and then chop, chop, chop. That shit don't scare me. When people start hearing voices and they're telling them to do evil shit, them are the scary movies, right? And I always remember back in the day when they rented horror movies, I'd go rent horror movies because you had to go to the video store like a normal person. You didn't have Netflix, Hulu, Prime. You didn't have none of that shit, right? You had to actually go out and spend, $2.99 and rent the damn DVD or the cassette. I would go to this Planet Movie place and rent like horror movies, just different horror movies. One of my favorites is Bubba Hotep. right? It really ain't even a horror movie. It's a Bruce Campbell movie where he's in an old folks home and he plays Elvis. One of my favorite movies of all time. So, but I went and rented this movie and I told the girl, sometimes I ask the girl for some advice at the movie store, because she seemed like she was in the horror movies. And I told her, I said, listen, I don't like watching movies on demonic possession. Any slasher film, Be Kind, Rewind. There you go, Willow. You know about it, right? I don't like watching demonic possession movies. I just don't like, The Conjuring and stuff like that. Just anything where anybody's possessed by the devil. So, I've watched Amityville. I watched some of them, but I don't prefer that type of movie. Like that movie, them kind of movies just creep me out. So, because then they'll have me thinking, I hope the devil don't get me, right? Paranoid. So I tell this girl, I was like, yo, slasher movies, I don't give a fuck if My Sweet Valentine, it could be Santa Claus killing people. I don't care, right? I just don't like to see people, So I tell her, and she picks this movie. It's called Boondocker or something like that. Anybody seen that? And I was like, okay, this movie ain't got nothing to do with demonic possession, does it? And she's like, oh no, it's a good movie. I loved it. I thought it was good. It's kind of scary, right? And I was like, okay, that sounds good to me, right? I can deal with some scary. That's what I want to rent, a scary movie, right? I get this damn movie home, and the whole movie is about demonic possession. The whole movie, right? I'm thinking, this girl, I just told her, and she knew what it was about, right? And she still was like, I went back the next day to say something to her. She wasn't working. I was like, oh damn. When I returned the movie, because you keep it a day, it was like $3. If you keep it 2 days, it's like $6 or something like that. So I'd take them back the next day. I'd watch like 3 of them in a night and take them back. I've seen like every horror movie ever made. But yeah, she's rented me a whole movie on nothing but demonic possession. So if y'all have seen that, it's like a monster that comes into your body and takes over you. That right there is demonic possession. So the devil's inside kind of movies. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna get ready to get out of here. I think I've been here long enough with you. I've been here 2.5 hours. It's almost 4 o'clock. Well, it's 4:30 in the morning. So drop some comments. Tell me what you think about the cases we spoke on tonight. Matter of fact, tell me your favorite horror movie. Okay, just in case there's one I ain't seen, I might watch it. Okay, so tell me what you think about the cases, and then in the comment box down below, don't be naming no damn Satan movies. Okay, I don't like demonic possession movies, but name one of your favorite movies that's not a possessed movie. Okay, I don't want to see the possession of Emily Rose or Amityville Horror 37. Okay, but something slasherish, scary thriller in the comment box down below. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Remember, if nobody else loves you, Dolly does. Peace.